All right. Hello, hello, all of you wonderful, wonderful people. It is your boy Ryan Lion here with Becky Rita, and we are bringing you tonight the BOL Gold Semifinals between the two teams in-houses. It's an in-house fight tonight. We have Revolution Eternal versus Revolution Regalia in this best of five here. And Becky, how are you doing today?
I'm all right. Today was the last day of the school year for the school I teach at. So, I'm
Nice.
free officially for exactly 3 days until summer school starts. But that's neither here nor there. 3 days of freedom is more than no days of freedom. So,
3 days of
um,
solo queue.
true. I can't wait to get in there and try out. Play exclusively Corky and
Mm,
like play Udyr again. He's probably still good. Uh, just you know, just
probably.
just really get in there and scrap. And I'm hoping we see these teams get in here and scrap tonight as well. Because like you said, this is an in-house. So
Mm.
these are from the same org. So these players likely are at least familiar with each other enough, have some kind of a positive connection to each other. So there's a lot on the line. It's not just about getting to finals, although that's the most important part.
Absolutely.
Arguably, even more important are the bragging rights. Being
Oh,
able to go back to the team Discord afterwards and be like, we were just better. What do you
yeah.
mean? We hold this over you for the rest of time until you beat us later. That's
That is very true. And they actually did meet up in the regular season earlier, and Eternals 2-0'd Regalia in that matchup between the two already. So they are kind of coming in tonight with those bragging rights, saying, hey, we've already done this before. It was a sweep. The only difference now, instead of a best of three, it's a best of five. So we have 3 games to do instead of just 2, but we're going to take you out just like we did before. So I hope Regalia has learned a little bit. Like you said, they should be familiar with each other. But that doesn't mean they know all the in-house secrets. And hopefully, from their first interaction here, Regalia, has learned a lot. And with that being said, though, the bans have just commenced here for game number 1. And off the board, Regalia says, you know what? A-Soul is not happening, and I cannot blame them in the least bit.
Yeah. On the recent patch, one of the big boogeymen of 14.10, I think is the patch. Uh, One of the big boogeymen of the patch is the Blackfire Torch.
Mm,
Uh, this new item, it's not quite old Leandry's. It's more focused on dealing additional burn damage to squishy targets rather than having
okay.
that percent health burn that old Leandry's had. So champions
Excellent.
that already worked really well with Leandry's, like
Mm.
Anivia, this is Anivia,
Ari?
Aesol, Karthus, Zyra, even. Although you're less likely to see that is a support champion. These
Right,
champions that benefited from the Blackfire Torch uh,
right.
are going to be very strong, just because that item is arguably a little overtuned.
Mm.
Debatably, I'm speaking of debatably overtuned. We are
Right.
looking at some Blackfire torches on the Rift right now, including the red torch, the human torch, even
Brand
brand.
The Human Torch, definitely. And because of those AP items that I think you were just mentioning, every single pick or ban, except for that jungle champ whose name is escaping me right now, has been AP, including even the Maokai here. So I think with the AP boost that you were just mentioning from that item, we're probably going to be seeing it here tonight. I don't know if it's effective to have it like doubled up, between Seraphine and Brand, or between Syndra and Maokai. But finally, the first ADC being picked is going to be Caitlyn. So I believe we might see a Maokai Kate bot lane. I'm leaning more towards a Maokai jungle personally, but tell me how you feel so far for these 3 picks on both sides. With Jax maybe being locked in. Hold on a second. We got the hover, and he has quite a bit of time. And yeah, no, never mind.
Yeah.
It's Jax.
I will say, in a vacuum, the Kate Maokai bot lane
Mm,
honestly isn't so bad, because one of Maokai's biggest weaknesses is he has no real ability to pressure his lane opponent, which
mm,
Caitlyn can. And one of what Caitlyn's looking for is somebody to lock the opponent down and push him into traps, which
mhm.
Maokai can. So it's a bit of an odd combination. You don't typically see these two as like in your head as like, oh, these what are we doing here? Where's Lux? But no, I feel like this actually is a pretty decent combo. It's maybe a little bit harder just because Caitlyn, you're gonna have to coordinate your engages because you do not want to drop a trap on the twisted advance route. You're not gonna have time to do it. You're gonna want to drop it where Maokai will punch him into it. So
Exactly.
it's just gonna require a little bit of different thought process. But I really do like that bot lane combo, and the Jax I think sort of keeps Maokai out of the jungle, because this is a champ that can very easily contest Maokai, especially in the early game. What we've got Seraphine and then old Seraphine here on Eternal Michigan, with Blitzcrank getting picked up in response. And I gotta say, Into the Enchanters like the Crank.
Oh yeah, Crank is definitely the go-to, especially for the squishies, like you were just saying, between the Seraphine and the old Seraphine, aka Sona here. And oh man, I am liking this setup from Regalia here in game number 1. It feels like, just based off the draft, they have definitely learned their lesson between their first matchup, and maybe Eternal is kind of not taking them as seriously as they should be. I was going to say the Wukong maybe being locked in here. I can see that being, the Wukong jungle, definitely Jack's top. But now I'm beginning to get that kind of switch here with the Ornn in the top and the Jack set up for the jungle here into the Malphite. Just to have that tank versus tank in the top side there. But still concentrating on that bot lane, and it looks like that is going to be a Maokai jungle lock-in for Regalia, with that Malphite being locked in there. Do you think it's going to be Jax or Ornn top on the side of Eternal?
I mean, you kind of. I'm trying to think. Like, sure, you'd have to shuffle Ornn into support. I don't think you really want to put him mid into Syndra. That sounds terrible. So you'd have to find a way to shuffle him into support. And on it, because he can unstoppable the blitz pull, I can see theoretically how that could be fine. The problem is then you kind of have to, okay, we move Brand into jungle, and then Seraphine into 80 carry, and then wait, where do we send Sona? And it's, I don't think it's gonna be. I think we're gonna be seeing probably the Seraphine Sona bot lane, if I had to guess.
Absolutely.
And then Brand in the mid lane. And Seraphine Sona is the most riveting bot lane gameplay you've ever seen in your entire life. So I'm very glad that we have picked champions to kill these stupid champions.
Yeah, agreed. Blitzcrank and Caitlyn are going to have a field day. It's bad enough that Caitlyn has the range advantage just naturally over almost every single bot lane. ADC Seraphine kind of has a slight advantage because of the range that she has with her abilities, but the auto attacks and just how squishy that they are in general, that Blitzcrank is the perfect counter, like you were mentioning earlier, between the two squishies, between Seraphine and Sona, because either one of them gets hooked, that's essentially going to be a GG. That's an instant trap. Then it's going to go into a Caliber net, and then a Q combo, and that's almost all of your health right there. And I know you have heals. I know you have shields. And I know there's been a little bit of a slight upgrade to the shielding factor here. And doubling up may cause a little bit of a problem, but not for these two. Blitzcrank is way too much of a hard engage. He's going to run in. He's going to knock up. You're going to try getting away. He's going to pull you back. And even if you do flash, all he has to do is wait, 20 seconds tops? And that whole combo is reset again, and he's going to go right on you, except this time you have a 5-minute cooldown on the flash, and there is no getting away. So yeah, it's kind of a problem, I think, on the side of Eternal's bot lane. But like you had mentioned, the Brand and the Jax and the Ornn, those three characters can really, really pop off very quickly, especially in the late game as well. But and Regalia having to rely solely on Caitlyn and or Syndra, as the rest of the team is just pretty much going to be their front line. I just don't see Eternal really having the DPS needed to get through such a heavy front line between the Maokai, the Malphite, and the Blitzcrank. So game number 1, personally, I'm going with Regalia.
Yeah, I really, I feel like it's tough because Eternal, the blue red side, I don't remember. Is that Regalia? Or
No, red side is Eternal. Blue side is Regalia.
okay. Okay. So it's we just have it's Revolution is the org. All right. Okay. Revolution Regalia. All right. You feel I'm prepared. This is so. I feel like it just doesn't feel like Eternal has, like you said, they just don't really have a lot of big damage. They have a lot of sustained damage spread out across multiple members of their team, but none of that is going to be able to stick into Maokai, Crank, Malphite. They have such easy access on to Sona and Seraphine with the Malphite ultimate, followed up by, Maokai's engages are super long range. That buys time for Syndra to get close enough to one-round them. So I feel like I think there's potential that Eternal's comp just out-sustains the level of pressure. If Syndra can't one-round their squishies, then they have the ability to just heal infinitely. And I don't know if Caitlyn's sustained damage later in the game is going to be good enough to crack that. But that's going to be a very late game scenario. And I don't think Eternal is going to survive long enough to get there. But and maybe they do. So we'll have to see.
Yeah, we're definitely going to have to see. And I mean, that's a lot of AP damage also coming from the side of Eternal. So those tanks, as long as they build MR between the Maokai and the Malphite, that Malphite Syndra combo is just going to be McNasty, especially in that team fight. If Maokai is able to go ahead and just set up, get a nice root on one, maybe two people tops, Malphite instantly combos in with his ultimate, and then the pushback from Syndra it's just a CC chain that's ridiculous. And then Caitlyn, Runin's Hurricane definitely is going to be an option here as well. But I think we're both in agreement that Regalia probably has this game, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, no, definitely. But once again, Eternals did 2-0 last time that they met. So, maybe they do have a couple tricks up their sleeves into this kind of setup here. But I think Regalia did a tremendous job in the drafting section. Eternals is going for something. I can see kind of what they're going for, but let's just hope that they're able to pay it off. But this is only game number 1, and this is a best of 5 tonight, Becky. So we got a lot of League of Legends potentially that we're going to see.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, we're going to go ahead and cut it to a short little intermission while we get ready for the in-game stuff. But do not go anywhere. It is your boy, Ryan Lion, and Becky Rita will bring you all the action in just a little bit. Finals here in this best of 5, and yeah, it looks like we're gonna get some invade action as we should with
Okay.
the Blitzcrank. Definitely. Oh no,
Okay.
Billy Badass is definitely not gonna badass up to this. The flash forward. Ooh, did sidestep the hook, so the reflexes are on point. Is paying attention, not alt tabbed. Great job. So flash for flash there. The ADC, which is the Seraphine, just like you had called, and then Sona as the support. But I definitely would trade a flash on the support for the ADC any day of the week.
Yeah, you absolutely do not want. You absolutely are okay with that, as Billy Badass does have to burn the flash there. It's a classic crank invade.
Mm.
You know, even sometimes when you're prepared for it, you're also not prepared for it, and you end up getting having to blow flash like that, which, you know, it's definitely not great, especially into Crank, because it gives him so many opportunities to just aggress on you early on. And especially, you know, whereas Maokai has to kind of finagle himself to get you into a Caitlyn trap, Blitzcrank has the exact time needed for Caitlyn to drop a trap and arm it just on hook and a punch. So it is very easy to exploit this super squishy Seraphine, especially because her base armor, and we already have it.
Yes, sir, indeed. Chubby with a nice little pull on to Such there. And, I mean, good trade back from the Seraphine and the Sona. That having that range advantage does kind of help counter in the early game only. But after Blitzcrank gets a couple of items, is a little bit tanky. You know, that is definitely going to turn in favor for Regalia here. And look at that also in the top side. Hold on one second. Chernobyl is going to go ahead and split it, but that's a lot of damage. That's a lot of things happening. And oh my god, just like we had just said, that range and walking, unfortunately, straight into a level 2 Seraphine. And we have Jax making his way through the mid lane. Yeah, you know, just wants to pop in, make sure everyone's all good. But yeah, great first blood picked up by Billy Badass there.
Yeah, I don't know what Chubby Chernobyl was thinking. Obviously, the idea there was to go in for a punch, but it just, the levels didn't line up properly for that play to go as intended, because you just get, if you're melee, you just get locked up by Seraphine, and the early damage from the two of them, when they poke you down enough, they can get you into a lethal range. And of course, Sona's burst, if you've ever played into Sona or have played Sona, you know that it is deceptively high, where you don't think it's as big as it is, and then she blasts half your HP bar instantly. So it's, the two of these champions do have a lot of burst, at least right now. So you kind of have to respect that if you are Chubby Chernobyl, and it didn't quite go through. So what would have been a lane advantage for the Crank has kind of been flipped on its head, as the Enchanter duo pick up that first blood.
Yes, sir, indeed. And you did say earlier as well, it's kind of deceptive damage, especially from the Sona. At level 1, you don't have very many resistances. I mean, yeah, you have a nice little, you know, mana shield there, but that's really going to be pretty low. And hold on one second, we do have a nice little gank potential coming in from the Blitz and the Maokai here, but another gank in return coming in from topside. Cook forced to flash, but is it going to be enough to flash forward from Madness? And yeah, that's going to be a 2-0 picked up from Eternal right now, and that's pretty big. I mean, a nice 2-0 lead. You know, Ornn getting the kill on that one. It would have been a lot better if it was on Jax, but still securing that slight advantage over the Maokai, or I'm sorry, over the Malphite is, you know, just going to go ahead and give you the slight lead that you need, especially as Ornn in that tank v tank matchup.
Yeah, it is good for the Ornn to have that, especially because Malphite doesn't actually have into other tanks a whole lot of damage. You typically, if you're picking Malphite, it's because he has a good amount of damage, but you need to not be tanky for him to make the most of it.
On to Such, yes sir, indeed. That was a good little combo. Yeah, Such, I don't know what he was thinking. He's like, I'm just gonna go ahead and try to poke the Blitz, but Blitz turned around and landed a nice little nasty hook on there and got some damage, but there's those heals and those shields that we were just mentioning in the draft earlier. They do have a lot of sustain between both these healers here, the new and the old Seraphine. So that's something that also Blitzcrank and Caitlyn kind of have to be on the lookout for. They just don't have enough, I think, DPS early on especially. If they can get a nice gank coming in from Maokai to get the setup and the full combos off, then maybe. But look at that. They're already back to full health like nothing even happened. That's any other combo, it would be a problem.
Yeah, they're going to be A-okay with... they're going to be okay, at least for right now. Looking at the map a little bit here, we are starting to get those first big objectives coming up as we do. We have a hook, but doesn't amount to anything. Ignite was burned, though. And the Ornn ultimate... Okay, ultimate trades in top lane. So that is going to be both the Ornn Horn and the Unstoppable Force down. But that's going to be way worse for Cook and friends here around Rubbins, which they're going to fight for.
Yes, indeed. It's going to be a 3v3. Nice. Right now, all the damage is going on to Shambles. But hold on one second. They turn their focus down, and Cook is gone. Picked up by the Brand, now Maokai forced to flash and get out of there. Oh, nice return damage, though, from Syndra into the top side here. The Grub's still going ahead and fighting, but I think they're going to go ahead and try leaving it. No, they're not. Hold on one second. Stuck inside the little Rift Herald spot there. Nope, they're going to go ahead and pick up the Void Grubs and leave. Simultaneously, on the bot side, we did have some action as well. We do have the getaway pings coming in from top side, so do not overstay. You're lucky to be alive right now. As skirmishes are happening across the map, but it looks like at the end of the day, another kill being picked up here by Eternal. And Becky, they're just kind of slowly starting that lead, like you had mentioned in the pregame as well. If they can go ahead, if they can play it correctly, it looks like they can. Oh, ball slapping around a little bit. Leper Koopa does make it through the Syndra ulti, as the unleashed power is not going to be enough. Definitely, it should be more leashed power right now because it did not kill. But yeah, that is just a lot of action. Only one kill, though, given in that entire skirmish between top and bot lane here. But if they could just keep this up, that snowball effect between the Brand and the Jax and the Ornn, you know, later on, if the sooner he can get to his upgrades, the better. And right now, he's doing a tremendous job with 1 kill and 1 assist.
Yeah, doing a fairly good job maintaining, you know, getting that gold 1 kill, 1 assist. And, you know, Ornn definitely makes a lot of use of this. It gets hard for Malphite to really fight another tank as they get more of these items. Although we do have the Lost Chapter completed for Cook. So I wonder what Cook is cooking here on the Malphite. I'm curious to see what that Lost Chapter turns into, if anything. It could also just be kind of like a laning purchase, similar to, you know, getting a tier. But why would you invest that much gold into an item that you're just using for helping your laning? I'm interested. I'm curious. I wonder what's in the cards for the Malphite here. We'll have to see if they can start getting some of this lead back, getting some of this gold back. They are about 400 down on the Ornn. So you got to keep in mind as well that Ornn accelerates gold leads he already has due to the ornaments. We have a gank being set up down here. Jax is around. We could see a 3v3 scuffle if Chernobyl and Scrambles go too far forward. It's going to start.
Oh, yes, it is. Great hook is going to go ahead and land onto Billy Badass, but Jax was waiting in the wings just where he needed to be, and the Nature's Graph is going to stop the 3 of them right now, but that's a lot of damage. Scrambles is scrambling right now. Billy Badass also stepping a little bit too close. Nice flash from Lispanks to get away from Dino. Here comes Cook. The Unstoppable Force is up. And no, they definitely see him thanks to the vision coming in from the minions. But hold on one second. Cook is still cooking in the bot lane. Ornn doing his thing into the top side as the teleport was going. So Cook is forced to flash. A nice hook. Oh my god, I didn't even see it till you said ooh. And Cook picked up the kill. So kind of totally worth as they get a kill up on the board and make their way to the dragon. So that is going to be an ocean drag picked up by Regalia, and man, what a hook. Chernobyl started this fight and he finished it, putting them on the board.
Yeah, great hook from Chernobyl there to pick up something. Kill does get picked up by Malphite, considering one of 4 players could have gotten that. You know, maybe Caitlyn could have gotten something there. I don't know if she was close enough. Maybe she wasn't able to auto-attack the Seraphine in time. But either way, you're not going to complain about getting a kill. And it definitely helps Malphite out a bit in this top lane. I think Caitlyn... Oh?
No. Oh,
no, we're fine.
There's a lot of damage.
We're good.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, close. Close. But yeah, I do think that obviously you're not going to necessarily complain. And we have the Fallen Ashes on to cook. Is this real? I'm looking this up. There's no way this is a real. This is like an actually legitimately good purchase. And I don't actually have Twitch chat open to correct me on this, so I'm gonna believe I'm right regardless of what the truth is. I'm checking Malphite builds. There's no
fair.
reality.
Ooh, great hook though. Yeah.
There's no, I refuse to believe that we live in a world where you build Blackfire Torch on Malphite. It's not real. It's not real.
Well, I mean, that is some good AP damage, especially with the squishy targets that they have. They're not really a tanky team between the Brand, the Sona, and the Seraphine. You definitely want to get rid of the high priority targets as quickly as possible. And AP Malphite might be the way. Dino, hold on 1 second, making his way to the top side. Does have a ward there just in case. Let's see if anything is going to happen, though. All right. Nope, nothing really. Chernobyl is low on mana, and he is going to be able to get a knock-up, though. And, uh-oh, Billy Badass does hit the Encore. But wait, there goes the cleanse. Billy Badass has the shields, but is it going to be enough? Yes, it is. Oh, my God. Brand is showing up. What a very great teleport from Koopa. And that's going to go into a double kill. The teleport totally worth 3-0. Koopa with an amazing teleport. Here comes the Unstoppable Force as well. Flashes out of the stun, though, from Dino. I don't think Dino could have really done anything to cook him in the top side. But doesn't matter because the rest of his team is getting cooked on the bot side there. Because, once again, the double kill picked up by Leopard Koopa.
Yeah. Cook's up top. Just hitting things, as we do have re-engage from Or.
Oh my God.
Great Nature's Grasp there. That was some pretty crackerjack timing to stop that one. But
insane.
Yeah.
Jax is into the top side, or I'm sorry, into the mid side. Nice flash to go ahead and time that, and that's going to be, yes, it is. The unleashed power is enough, but he is going to trade his life to pick up 1 kill, and now that Brand moves to 4-0, and hold on, a great hook, and the knock up, and there we go, the kill being picked up by the Caitlyn. Already has the Collector, but wait, that's going to be one too many tower shots. Oh, the dodge, what an insane thing, but into the tower range once again you go, and that is going to be a kill picked up by Madness. Meanwhile, Malphite, who was lacking severely from the teleport happening a little bit earlier in the game, just a couple minutes, is able to go ahead. Oh, nice CC dodge on the engage there. Madness trying to buy a little bit of time, but Sona's the only one making her way down here. Malphite was able to gain a lot of gold from that, though. A couple plates before the 14-minute timer, and he managed to catch back up in CS. So, you know, this gold difference is only 800 between these two teams right now, and there's a 4-kill, including first blood lead, on Eternal. Things are looking not that bad right now for Regalia.
Yeah, things are looking very well for Regalia. This is a team they really need to get that, just get any kind of lead, because if they have a lead to sort of keep themselves tanky, we do have, okay, that won't amount to anything. They need to keep themselves a lead, because if they can maintain this, their numbers are so much better than these kind of not super far behind, but also not super accelerated players in the Caitlyn and Syndra. They aren't nearly on pace enough to match the Seraphine and Sona's utility with the kind of
another
advantage
great
they
hook.
have.
I apologize. And that's a double headshot combo into the queue, and Spanx gets the kill. I mean, I know you were just saying that they might not have enough, but that was an instant. 1 hook is all it took to take down Such there. And, you know, with the lane swap between the Seraphine and the Ornn, even for just a little bit, that was not the move, I think, from Eternal that they should have taken, because that gave the range advantage on over to Regalia on the Caitlyn there, and now Billy Badass by himself for just a little bit as Sona makes her way back down.
Yes. Okay, we do have the Nature's Grasp. I don't think that's gonna. Oh, this is the best ability in the game.
Yes, it is. Oh my goodness, and oh my god, the return damage though from Leper. Is that going to be a double kill? That's one by the burn. The second one, not quite, but now he is on the run. What a ridiculous turnaround. I think potential dive, but hold on 1 second. Another great hook once again landing from Chubby Chernobyl there onto the bot side. Meanwhile, Jack's kind of ignoring his compatriots, and I don't blame him. He did secure the second set of grubs, and now making his way to his first dragon of the game, which is going to be a Cloud. So he's just doing his thing in the jungle, farming up objectives. Can't complain with that.
All right. The research continues. What other item does the Fallen Ashes build into? Does it build into anything other than... Okay, it builds into Leandri's. Okay, that makes sense. Got it. All right. Mission accomplished. I was trying to check. I thought it was just into the Blackfire Torch, but no, it also builds into Leandri's. I guess that makes sense. But yeah, we're gonna see that Leandri's coming in, the double burn from Leper Koopa. Once you have that, you just feel super powerful. It's the same as, you know, when you used to build old Burning Helm, demonic embrace. When you build demonic embrace and Leandri's just to get that double burn, it feels way better than that, because demonic embrace is always kind of depressing to build, but you utilize every stat you get from both of the Leandri's and the Blackfire Torch on the brand. So the double burn build is so effective. On top of Brand's dots, and you know, once I imagine we might see a Rylai's card potentially, and that once those three items are online, it's lights out. You are not able to play the game. You get burned super quickly, and I'm looking forward to it.
I mean, this is exactly what you want as Brand. I mean, the items may change, but the end result is still the same. You get burned to death, and there's nothing that you can really do about it. And, you know, in the team fights, that is definitely going to come in handy between the Encore from Seraphine and the Engage from both Ornn and Jax there. They have a really nice setup between all of them. You know, I think on Eternal, you know, because they were able to get so much damage, they were able to get ahead so early. The 5-0 Brand, and like I said, he's going to be finishing his second item, this Leandri's, and once he does that, it's going to be a lot of damage. You know, coming out of the side of Eternals here. And here comes Dino once again. Has to attest to the flash. There it is. Yep. And the Unstoppable Force, just in case. I personally would have used the Unstoppable Force because it's a bit of a cooldown, but that's just me. A lot of damage coming on to Koopa's here. Chernobyl's going to go ahead and rush in, lands the hook, and boom, shut down. 5-0. Thank you for the 700 gold. See you later. Talk to you again. Ball slapping around Brand just a little bit here. And now that gold lead is definitely in favor of Regalia, even though they're down by 3 kills. Lespanx also not letting up at all. Such trying to help, and there goes the 50 caliber net, but sidestep the Encore. Up. Great job. Yep, Crescendo still is up from the Sona, but they... well, since you already missed the Encore, it's kind of like, I wouldn't... We're trying to get that huge CC king, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I would
Chernobyl, though, we continue. Definitely, yeah, different intentions here. He's going to go ahead and try backing up into Shambles to try to set up here. Doesn't land the hook or doesn't hold on to it. Hold on 1 second here. Jack's going to go ahead and circle around, but instead focuses on... I forgot the taunt that comes from those vision wards when you first step into it for the first 3 seconds. Yeah, he should have just went straight for the gank, in my opinion.
but the gold, think about it. You know what they say, a bird in the hand is worth 2 in the bush, and the control ward, that's like 30 gold. That's pretty good. That's not bad, right?
A double kill's a little bit better.
Yes, okay, but you can't. The kills aren't guaranteed. The control ward is, all right. That's what we call a life lesson here. We're learning life, I guess.
Write that down.
Yeah, we do have the Herald dropped down here. Brand is here as well. Syndra Ball Slap sticking around in the mid lane. It looks like Leper Koopa and friends. Leper Koopa's just kind of hovering around the Drake, which is coming up in about 50 seconds. With the Brand, you absolutely just obliterate objectives. You do not need a sustained damage 80 carry to shred those objectives. Brand does it. So that is pretty great. And we're getting double burn Malphite. We're getting double burn Malphite. Okay, we have the Oblivion Orb on Malphite. It gets better.
It gets better.
I don't want to get like stun locked by builds, because obviously this is Gold League. You shouldn't expect these players to, you know, have a calculator, right? You should you should have, you know, allow these players to make mistakes. And I do agree. I allow people to make mistakes. I'm an English teacher.
That is going to be an Encore that's going to be used onto the mid lane here. Hold on, lots of damage between the Brand and the Sona. And yep, down goes Chernobyl. That's going to be 1-for-1 though. Dino also falls. The teleport coming through from Madness. Malphite, unfortunately, only has the Walk of Shame. Or is this stealthy? Is he trying to go ahead and allow his team to go do a little bit more damage before he shows up with the Unstoppable Force? He has all the vision in the world, and that is going to be a nice setup here, but that's a lot of damage going on to Spanx. Flashes over the Ornhorn, and meanwhile, Ball Slap is going to go in and take down Leper Koopa. The Brand is down. The Brand is down. Ornn forced to dash out of there. The stun from Ball Slap, though, as he is on the hunt. But with Scooch and Billy both being there, and the heals and the shield sustain, especially now at this point of the game with the Moonstone pickup, that is going to be enough, though, for them to back off this objective. The third Drake, and this is going to be a Soul as well, the Infernal. This is going to be the third Drake of the game. The second one picked up by Regalia here. And with every Infernal Drake that they can take away from this Brand is definitely a win, whether it's one or hopefully all three. When it comes on over to Regalia.
Yeah, and not just the Brand, because at this point, Billy Badass has picked up the Leandries. So you are also sort of stopping the Seraphine from getting that kind of sustained damage going in with the burn item by just picking up as many of these Infernals as possible. And we're seeing a little bit of Regalia kind of pull back control of the game. We're seeing, you know, the Syndra, kind of what we were theorizing in draft, that the fact that Syndra and Caitlyn do have the ability to punch through these backline characters if they can get to them. The unexpected part maybe was that Leper Koopa has, you know, a super powerful, super advanced, in terms of, he's very far ahead, relative,
right.
At least in terms of numbers. But I mean, Ball Slap is farming really well, so has that turret advantage. I would say that gold, I would actually like to see the gold. I'm curious as to where Syndra's ahead. Oh no. Wait a minute.
Yes, sir. That's how important farm is. You may be 4 kills ahead, but not only that, I got the big shutdown on Brand. So I got 700 gold just infused right into me, injected. Kaboomy. And since technically every 15 farm leads to 1 kill's worth of gold, he is ahead in terms of, or he is even in terms of kills in the gold aspect. With that nice shutdown that Syndra was able to pick up on to Leper earlier, definitely is the difference maker, I think, in this gold lead that Syndra now has. But she just has to make sure that she doesn't give up that 200 gold lead, especially. Ooh, the hook is going to go ahead and land. We've seen this before. The combo with the most. Leper Koopa, though, is onto Spanx. And yeah, that's such a CC combo between the Encore and everything else. That's going to be 1 down. Chernobyl is going to be the next one on the menu here. Scrambles did already use the Nature's Grasp, and yeah, that's going to be it. 1 for 2. I'll try to support for an ADC and support any day, as the Baron is looking mighty juicy right now, but they have to be careful with Ball Slap. As like we said just a few moments ago, she is pretty strong right now, especially with those squishy targets. Brand, a little bit tanky, you know what I mean? He has the upgrade coming in to Leandri's Lament, so that is going to be a little bit more health and a little bit more ability power on that back end that is already a tanky. And like you said, that Rylai's Crystal Scepter being picked up as well, you know, that is a very healthy Brand. He can definitely live through the damage and adds 2 more kills to his already, like you mentioned, ultra aheadness at 8 and 2. But with him having most of the kills on the team and the other 2 falling on the Ornn and the Seraphine, Jax unfortunately only has 5 assists. I think Jax might be the deal breaker, though, in these team fights. He's not really that effective. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Especially because, you know, when the strength of the Eternal comp here is the fact that they have, you know, a lot of all of their champions do at least a little bit of damage. But unfortunately,
Right.
Jax is at a point where he's not really there to do a little bit of damage. Brand is doing a lot of bit of damage. We do have a flash burn, good stuff from Chernobyl. Billy Badass is going to be doing a little bit more than a little bit of damage as these items come through. We do have the Leandri's completed third. Not the Leandri, the Rylai is completed third, as predicted by my super genius Brand brain. All right, I played Brand. All right, I played him. I've played him support for years. All right, I know these things. I can smell it. So he's definitely like doing a lot of damage, but if Brand isn't able to get a whole lot outside of the Pyroclasm, like if that Pyroclasm is not very effective, like it bounces to like one person, it's not going, you're not going to get that huge damage chain that you want to see off of the Brand. And as long as Regalia can kind of play a little bit safer, you know, stay apart, prevent the Brand from finding those huge combos, or the huge chains of the Pyroclasm, then you should be in a much better spot, because, again, you can kind of insta-kill one of Seraphine or Sona, and from there, without that utility, without that shielding and healing, they don't have the ability to sustain through Caitlyn, and that gives you the ability to actually win these fights. You have to kill an Enchanter before you actually start making progress into any of these 1v1s, as we do have a TP interrupted by Cook successfully. So we do have the 4v4 down here.
Yes, indeed, and oh my god, a nice combo is going to go ahead and land by Ball Slap, but an Encore in return, and Chernobyl is getting mighty low with that shield and sustain that we were talking about earlier, but Scooch is going to go ahead, eat it, double kill picked up, oh my god, by the Dino, gets up onto the board 2-2, with the shutdown being picked up by the Brand to move him to 9-2, and all that's left in shambles is Scrambles himself, as Ball Slap, Spanx, and Chernobyl all fall, and that is going to be a Infernal Drake picked up in return by Eternal here, and that's going to even up the Drakes on the board, each team having 2. They are cutting this down to the wire now.
Yeah, down to the wire here, just as we were saying, this Jack saying he ain't got no kills. Where's his gold at? He does get a double kill, so that's going to help him out quite a bit in terms of making himself more of a threat. I was a little concerned at the start of that fight when we saw the Crescendo and Encore not synced up together. We saw the Encore go out, and it was decent, but then there wasn't that Crescendo follow-up to get the CC chain going, and from there I was a little concerned that we weren't going to be able to see that full lockdown, but fortunately Booterscooch sees a great opportunity to flash in and get the Crescendo onto enough people. They manage... Regalia kind of reconvenes back in a little group, and that is exactly what Booterscooch was waiting for. It gets a good Crescendo, and from there, it's just a matter of burning them to the ground with the Brand abilities. All that AoE from Brand's passive, it's so dangerous if you just let it stack on you and let it blow your entire team up. And when you're locked in a CC chain for an hour by the Crescendo Encore combo, even if it's a little bit of a desync combo, it's very hard to deal with. Looking at the game state right now, though, that was the first Infernal picked up for Eternal. Both teams, okay, we do have a hook, goes wide.
Oh my god, yeah, what a sidestep by both of them, splitting like Moses, and the Encore down with the cleanse as well. The teleport coming in from the Brand. Koopa is splashing forward, trying to get what he can get onto the Spanx, but it's not going to be enough, and Dino does get Syndra out of the way, but falls, so is the Koopa, so mid laner for mid laner right now. Chernobyl with another great double knockup between Cook and Chernobyl there, and just able to peel for the Caitlyn is the most important thing, and that is mission accomplished, but they have to be on the lookout. This is still a very double sustained, double healing, and shielding bot lane that they have to deal with. They have nothing, and a great hook is going to go ahead and land, but they are not able to follow up with enough damage as people are low on mana and on health from the 2 carries at the moment. Cook trying to get a sidestep, but already using the Unstoppable Force. There's a nice engage onto Madness, but still, look at those shields, look at those heals, and that is going to be Chernobyl falling. Scooch is going to go ahead and pick that one up there. Cook is now running away, trying to see if he can get away. Yes, under the protection of that tier 3 tower, but wow, look at that demolish stack. Half of the health of the tier 3 falls to Madness, and they are running out of minions though, so they have to stop the siege for right now. But man, oh man, that sustain, the double AP healer shielder, that is just something that they just don't have the answer for on the side of Regalia.
Yeah, they're even with, you know, the Oblivion Orb on the most primo champions to stack it on their opponents, which is, of course, Malphite and Maokai. You know, we still have these... We have a little bit of healing reduction, but it's just not enough. You're sort of like cutting... You're trying to cut a faucet, like a stream of water from a faucet with a pair of scissors. You're not accomplishing anything. It's so tough because to win a fight, Regalia needs to kill one of Billy Badass or Booter Scooch instantly. The problem is if Ball Slap or Lespanx die, then you have no ability to do that. You are entirely reliant on these two DPS being completely in sync. And that requires your tanks to be locking them down in a way that you can actually follow up. I have to commend Lespanx. The positioning in these fights have been really... They're playing on like a thin razor edge, and I do think that this is what they kind of have to do because of how shorter range their engage is. They have to kind of play closer than you feel comfortable with if you're on Caitlyn, like in that last fight where they were able to. Okay.
Oh my goodness, Billy Badass! I think he was trying to be a little bit too badass there. Forces the flash. The Unleashed power does come out. The Nature's Grasp. Yes, indeed, Dino is trying to do what Dino does. Cleanse not up, and down goes Lespanx. Just like you were saying, one of the carries need to go. When the Encore lands on two of the members, followed up by the Ornhorn. And oh my god, even though he is a little bit tanky, scrambles. Wow, does get away as the Unstoppable Force comes through. Ball Slap, though, is also able to get away. The Malphite damage.
Double burn Malphite! Double burn Malphite! It's so good! Oh, it's so good! What are we doing?
That is definitely a slight issue. Yeah, that Malphite AP not that effective when we could have the tanks. That is for certain. As the third Infernal is being picked up here by the sign of Eternal, and it's looking really heavily that Eternal is probably going to clinch this, as every single team fight for the last 3 team fights, it was like 10-9. Now it's 19-9. No kills being unfortunately picked up here by the side of Regalia, because once again the heals and the shields just coming through from the Sona and coming from the Seraphine are just absolutely relentless and unreal here. And I mean, there's some good hooks landing, there's some good engage, but it's just not enough.
Okay, Nature's Grasp.
Oh, hold on one second. Never mind. It's going to be enough for just this one, as all 5 team members are able to burst down Koopa there. And yeah, Ball Slap unfortunately getting burned to death. So even though Lord Koopa does die, he is from the grave, still extending a nice warm hello. And yeah, Dino just obliterating currently. He was able to catch up with those 2 kills, and he is on a rampage now, 5-2. But this is not that much of a in favor.
This is the position where Malphite wants to be in. Watch this.
Yeah. No, definitely not it. If you want to watch the gray screen, that is what you do here, as the by a tippy toe. The ulti coming in from Sona, and yeah, they're just able to freely push. They already took down the tier 3 in the mid. They're going to take down the tier 3 and get their first inhib here on the bot side. But yeah, right now, Eternal is living on to the reputation of undefeated between the matchup of these two, as once again, they 2-0'd last time that they did face each other. And we have a teleport coming in right now from Leopard Koopa. They are looking to end this out. As, oh my god, a nice hook, and that's going to be a nice combo double. The Spanx is going to go in and get it. Yes, they do. Oh my god, they're just too brazen him. But once again, that burn, too strong. Ball Slap does fall. But as 2 really key members here coming in from Eternal are dead, and now the Spanx is getting beaten down, but the positioning, like you had mentioned, oh, it is horrible. Chernobyl. We've seen this in real life. We've seen this in League. And hold on 1 second. The shields, is it going to be enough? The Nature's Grasp, these speed effects aren't going to be there. Yep, Scrambles picks it up from Billy Badass, as now this is kind of going in favor of Regalia. But hold on 1 second. Scrambles by himself, trying to 1v1 the Jax as he is running out of mana here. I don't know if he's going to be able to do it, though. The root is down for just a couple more seconds. Caitlyn is a little bit far, though, has no mana. Yeah, Jax is just going to go ahead and jump out of there. But these extended long team fights, they are giving up a couple more kills than they should, but they are taking down some key targets, a.k.a. Ball Slap, as he now falls to 7-6. He was 7-3 just about 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, it is so tough. They are able to stop the end of the game. They get a couple of kills. Eternal step up just a little bit too far. They get one of, I think it was Leper Koopa got hooked, or that or Booter Scooch.
Yes.
One of the two of them got hooked. Then the other one just kind of died. Got CC chained, and from there it was just kind of, you know, the rest of Eternal, they didn't have their buttons, they didn't have their resources, so they're just kind of getting scattered. So they end up getting forcibly reset into the back to the Baron, and their goal is to just get this Baron and try and end the game. Malphite is not there. Maokai is going to try and stop them.
Yes, he is. Let's see. It is not going to be successful, as they're doing a great job zoning him out. The rest of Regalia not really able to, you know, get there to try to pull off any kind of play or any kind of steal. The jungle objective control by Dino has been absolutely amazing this game. You know, he got the early grubs, he got both of them, he got the Rift Herald, you know, now he has the Baron. They have 7 towers in total right now and 3 dragons. So, you know, jungle, he's put his life on the line, paid his dues, got the assist, but these end game kills are doing a wonders for him as they go ahead and now march into the base, and that demolish stack, unreal by Madness, as they are just trying to go ahead and stop the onslaught that is these supers. And the Encore is going to go ahead and hit on to Ball Slap. And oh, here comes the Brand ulti, and that is going to be a burn. And kaboom, down goes Ball Slap, down goes Cook. And that is going to be a double kill, but Dino stepping up does get the kill, also gets killed in return, though. Here comes the Nature's Grabs. Spanx is trying to position himself, falling a little bit too low as the glass tower does fall. And nice combo with the 50 caliber net, but no, that is not going to be enough as game number 1 finally ends. And Eternal takes the lead 1-0 in this 37-minute game here. And once again, this is just a game number 1, Becky, so what an outstanding game it was.
Yeah, a fantastic game we had there from the side of Eternal. They played their comp very well. Their goal was to get the, you know, the cringe double enchanter and just out sustain everything. They just out sustain any kind of damage. The win condition, unfortunately, kind of been we need to burst down the enchanters before they get their healing online. And the unfortunate reality was they never were able to do that. This Ball Slap did have a pretty solid lead, and, you know, Caitlyn was doing a fair bit of damage when they were able to actually, you know, get like their net, their caliber net, their Q, their, you know, headshot crits. Once they got damage, they were able to kill someone. The problem is that they were never able to execute as a 5-man squad to kill one of those enchanters. And eventually it got to a point where you only ever needed one. Once they got ahead enough, you only ever needed the one. And at that point, there's nothing you can do. It doesn't matter if Malphite has, you know, full tank items or full AP, triple burn. He could go full AD. It doesn't make a difference. There's no way you're cutting through all of that healing and shielding that Seraphine and Sona have if you don't have a reliable way to either reduce it or cut through the shields. And they had neither. So it was very rough. Very rough. But I gotta say, really gotta commend Eternal. Aside from getting, you know, hit by a few Blitzcrank hooks, I think that the team played very well to their win condition.
Absolutely. No, they did a tremendous job coming together. They showed up, and they showed the reason why that they went undefeated in their last matchup once again. But we'll go ahead and go over a little bit more of game number 1 as we get ready here for game number 2. So we are going to cut it for a small little break as we get ready for that. Do not go anywhere. Your boy Brian Lyon and Becky Rita will bring you all the action in just a little bit. All right, hello, all of you wonderful, wonderful people. It is your boy Ryline and Becky Rita here, and we are casting tonight the BOL Gold Semifinals between two in-house teams, Revolution Regalia and Revolution Eternal. And currently, Eternal is up 1-0 in this best of 5 series, adding on to their previous record of 2-0 when they did meet up in the regular season as well. And, at the rate that they're going, it could be a possible 3-0 here tonight. But I definitely think Regalia had a lot of chances in game number 1. They just kind of, unfortunately, Malphite AP top. Very questionable choice, especially looking at it from the long run. But in the end, it probably wouldn't have mattered because, like you had mentioned earlier, between the shielding and the healing coming from both Seraphine and Sona, there's really not a whole lot that they were going to be able to do to get through that. And, even though we have the first 3 bands already coming out, goodbye Brand, goodbye Sona, who else would you have expected to see as picked or banned here?
Okay. I'm very intrigued by the double AD carry. I feel like Regalia, they looked at the last game and they decided we're getting sustained damage. We're not doing this again. It is not happening. We're gonna have damage that's consistent. So they have the Tristana and the Jinx get picked up there. The Twitch in Zyra is fascinating. I like these two champions separately. I don't know necessarily. I can see, why it would work together. Obviously, big lockdown from the Zyra. You root them up, and then you knock them up, and that entire time Twitch is spraying and praying right into your backside. So it does work in terms of a bot lane combo, and later in fights, it'll create a little bit of zone to allow Twitch to get into fights a little bit easier. The Taric response, I think, is pretty smart in terms of, but when you think Twitch is gonna start popping up and firing at you, you can drop the Cosmic Radiance on yourself, and by the time he's firing into your backside, you're golden. So, it gives you the ability to kind of negate a lot of that damage from the Twitch. So I do like it. I think it'll be rough in lane, but what lane into Zyra is not rough? She is insanely oppressive for pretty much every melee tanky champion. Bands went through very top lane focused as we have the Karthus burn to the ground. Burn to the ground.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's going to be a Karthus jungle pickup more than likely. Tristana mid, I would assume, and then the Jinx and the Taric in the bot lane here from Regalia. And then, like you said, the Twitch Zyra in the bot lane on the side of Eternal, with the Syndra being picked up. So still on blue side, but switching teams here as Eternal picks up Syndra. And Rammus is going to be the tanky, taunty lockdown jungle that they have here in response to Karthus. But if I'm not mistaken, I think Karthus actually wins that, especially early. So Rammus just has to be very careful just about the early potential jungle invade coming in from Karthus. But I think that they're just going to stick to their guns. I mean, with Regalia already falling behind 0-1, you definitely don't want to do anything too risky and cause maybe a potential 2-0. And giving up those early kills will definitely increase those chances. And then the Wukong being the last lockdown here for Eternal. And like you said, a lot of knockups coming in from the side of Eternal, but Taric, I think, is a very, very good counter to that sustained damage that they have coming in. So in those team fights, yeah, if you don't kill him within the first, or if you do kill him within the first 2 seconds, perfect. But right as soon as that 2-second delay timer happens, boom, that is going to be completely invincible, I believe, for like an additional 3 seconds. So, and that's a lot of damage between Tristana and Jinx.
Yeah, and fortunately, we have our secondary AP carry in the Malphite picked up again by Regalia.
He's going tank this time.
There's no way. If we see triple burn Malphite again, it's a social experiment. Like, we gotta check the PayPals. I feel like there's absolutely no reality where we see triple burn Malphite again ever. But theoretically it's better this game just because there's less enchanters you have to deal with. You know, you might actually deal some damage. I doubt it. You already have Karthus. You don't need to deal that extra damage. You need to be a tank. You know, maybe the last game build was luring them into a false sense of security to not get rid of the Malphite. So now we have it this game. We're going to get a good build, and it's going to set up perfectly for the Jinx and Karthus late game to absolutely shred through Eternal, because Jinx and Karthus, once they come online, they destroy your entire team so quickly.
Oh yeah, that's a lot of squishies. The Zyra, the Twitch, the Syndra. I mean, Wukong kind of gets a little bit tanky. He gets health items, so he doesn't get resistances really. He just gets a lot of health, you know, which is going to help a little bit. And Rammus is just Rammus. You know, he is definitely the counter to the ADCs in general, between the taunts, the Thornmails, you know, the magic, all that good stuff. You know, but that's where the Karthus comes into handy, as his Qs and his AP. You know, especially with his AoE on his E as well. You know, there's just a lot of AP damage that's going to be followed up. And then Taric shielding and healing everybody that's close to him. And then, of course, the invincibility that he possesses after, once again, that 2-second delay timer of the activation of that ulti. So these level 6s are going to just be about timing. It's just going to be about positioning as well. You know, as long as the Twitch and the Zyra aren't the front line here, even though they don't have much of a front line on the side of Eternal, because right as soon as Wukong goes in and Rammus goes in, because, you know, that's exactly what they both do, Wukong's going to get immediately blown up. I mean, he is not a tanky individual at all. So I don't even know if his double cyclone is even going to be enough, unless you get a great knockup set up by the Zyra, or a stun, like a 3 or 4 man stun by the Syndra here. So it's definitely going to be about positioning for Eternal to come out victorious, I think, in this one, as all they have to do is just sit back, do the scaling thing, do Jinx's whatever, Karthus's whatever, you know, Tristana's whatever, and hopefully praying to the league gods here that Malphite is tank and not AP this time. You know, and just let Karthus take the AP from there. But I know I said this game 1, but I think Regalia has it here in game number 2 to tie it up.
Yeah, I would agree. I think that, you know, the Eternal comp has the ability to you know, do a lot of damage up front, and if they can stop Jinx and Karthus from snowballing, then they have the ability to win the game before those two champions come online. But unfortunately, Karthus right now is very effective thanks to Fallen Ashes being such a fantastic item for AP junglers. It basically solves all of the problems that you didn't even have as an AP jungler in terms of your clear speed. It makes you go even faster. Karthus is already ridiculously fast at his clears. Now we are going to reach a point where, in the time it takes Rammus to kill a single buff, Karthus will have cleared every single other camp on the map. So it's gonna be... Rammus is going to have to find advantages entirely through ganks. So as long as Regalia can kind of weather that storm of the early to mid game, they can get their Jinx and their Karthus into a position where one good Malphite ultimate means the end of the game, then one good Malphite ultimate means the end of the game. Seems pretty straightforward, seems fairly safe, as long as they can control themselves and prevent a huge deficit early on.
Absolutely. Couldn't have said that better myself. I mean, you know, Twitch, if he gets ahead just like one item, he just absolutely obliterates that bot lane. I do not care who you are. And because of that, Zyra, like you said, the oppressiveness that she possesses just as a character, it doesn't matter what kind of support that you go, but especially a tank support, even though Taric has the sustain, he has the shields, he has the heals, that's a lot of mana early on that he's not going to have. So when he gets the tier, when he gets, you know, that built up a little bit, yeah, he's going to have that sustain. He's going to be able to match the damage that Zyra does. But it's just outlasting early on, not getting greedy, and then hopefully having an early Karthus gank here as well. Because if you can give the lead to Jinx early, she's just going to go ahead and pop off even sooner. like the longer this game goes, the stronger Jinx gets. But if she gets ahead early, she just once again just gets stronger, faster, and earlier. And that is exactly what they want here. And I like the damage being spread out once again between the Karthus, the Jinx, and the Tristana. While yes, you do kind of have Zyra here on the side of Eternal. Twitch and Syndra are really going to be your biggest damage dealers. So Wukong just kind of falls off if he doesn't get ahead early, and I don't really see him being able to get ahead in the top side against Malphite. Malphite's just going to Q, walk away, get tanky, have the shield, and then leave from there. But I don't know. We'll have to see in 2 minutes and 45 seconds as we get ready for game number 2 here. But before we go, Becky, who do you think is going to take game number 2?
Regalia is.
Regalia?
What do you do? What do you do?
Yeah,
How do you deal
no.
with Karthus? How do you deal with Karthus? You don't. Karthus wins the game.
That's, you know what? That is very true. And even if Karthus doesn't win, he's going to be assisted by Tristana and Jinx. So that's, both equally as bad. But that's enough speculation. We're going to go ahead and get ready here, but do not go anywhere. This is game number 2 of, once again, the BOL Gold Semifinals between Revolution Eternal and Revolution Regalia. Your boy Ryline and Becca Rita will be right back. Alrighty, welcome back, all of you wonderful, wonderful people. It is your boy Ride Lion with Becky Rita here, and this is game number 2 in the gold semifinals between Revolution Eternal and Revolution Regalia. Eternal now is on blue side for game number 2, with Regalia on red side here, and Eternals is up in the series currently 1-0, as we don't have any cheeky invade like we did in game number 1. I always like a nice little invade, especially with, some kind of CC support, including Tarek. That's what the flash is for. You get that delayed flash E. Ooh, I love it. Sends chills down my spine just thinking about it. But they're not going for it here, as they are down currently, and I don't blame them.
Yeah, no reason to gamble, because it's very easy to lose the entire game, especially into Twitch. You give Twitch that early advantage, it makes it very hard to lane as Jinx, and you really need a good lane phase to get rolling. I honestly don't expect, and I would recommend that Regalia kind of just like don't do anything for a little while. They just kind of hold back, obviously take what plays that are given to you on a silver platter, but the onus is not on you to make decisions this game. The onus is on Eternal to prevent you from getting to your inevitable power spike, right? If you are Regalia, you are going to become God. It's just a matter of getting there. And it's going to take a while. So we're going to see what the side of Eternal can do to try and stop that. But Ball Slap, not afraid of the Syndra balls, as we do have a Kin engage.
Yes, indeed. Scooch is going to go and get poked down, but Chernobyl also getting equally as poked, and yeah, there goes that E stack that you were just mentioning here, and now the Spanx is forced to run. Flash from both of them into the root. Nice job by Scooch, and that is going to be a double kill. And oh no, you said give Twitch an inch, and he will take a mile, especially early on, as they were only focused on Scooch that entire time. Billy Badass walking out there completely unscathed with the double, and he is going to go ahead and push this tower, the minions into tower here. And yeah, that's already a 2-0 up on the board for Eternals here in game number 2.
Yeah, great work from both Billy Badass and Booter Scooch there. The prediction on the flash from the Zyra route, Billy Badass positioning very aggressively on that Twitch once they found that opportunity to just kind of play up safely. It looked like Chubby Chernobyl was going for a stun and just kind of got punished for it. We didn't see quite the entire start of that, of why Chubby Chernobyl was up so far. From where we saw it, at the very least, it looked like he was trying to play aggressively. They were pushing Billy Badass and Booter Scooch in. They wanted to try and, finish the shove under tower. And in the end, Tarek was just a little too far forward. He gets rooted, he gets slowed up, he gets killed because there is just a lot of burst. And the Ignite, in particular, cuts down Tarek's already pretty weak healing and shielding, at least early on here in the game. So it's really great when, in my mind, I say the objective, all you have to do is don't do anything and prevent your opponent from playing the game, and you can win. And then we immediately see them try and do something.
Yes, indeed. And we have Rammus making his way into the mid lane here. The taunt is going to go ahead and land onto the Tristana, but Tristana is a little bit healthy, pops one of her health pots, and Karthus, showing up now as the rest of the bot lane making their way up into the mid. Rammus forced to powerball away here, and he is going to get stuck in this 3-man side, but the taunt is going to land onto Tarek. Does dodge a stun, but wow, that's a lot of damage. And Karthus, picking up his first kill now of the game. And, that's putting him up on the board. So a lot earlier than last game, that's for certain. And that's exactly who you want to get these kills, Karthus, early on, as he is the only AP currently on the side of Regalia. And, Rammus, good look, but I think accidentally maneuvered in a way that kind of forced a checkmate there.
Yeah, sometimes you just end up too far forward, and Rammus especially is one of those champs that you're more optimal if you don't have flash, so you end up very easily getting into spots where, I have no way out. So unfortunately for the Rammus there, just kind of got pinched. Bought at least a little bit of time, so didn't just roll over and die, rolled around and are
Oh no, another one being picked up here. Yeah, Billy Badass already has the Berserker's Greaves, so the attack speed advantage is really the deciding factor. Able to get those stacks off and a lot more autos than Jinx can, even though the passive Q is stacking there.
Yeah, and that wasn't even like an aggressive position and getting punished. That was just getting caught by Zyra Root. And this is the oppressive nature of the Zyra champion. Tarek has a lot of bad matchups, and I think that Zyra is super not great for him. Obviously, later in the game, once he has Cosmic Radiance, he's a bit more useful, but until you get there, it's just a matter of you have to kind of play perfectly in lane, avoid every piece of CC, don't let all the poke stack on you, because if you just get poked down, you have to burn all your resources to heal up or shield, and when you burn those resources, you don't have them for your stun. So it's a pretty much a lose-lose situation on the side of Chubby Chernobyl. It's a tough lane. I don't fault them for getting killed by Zyra, because Champ's tough to play into. Tarek's not easy. So hopefully we see them kind of, take a step back, look at what they're doing, reconvene, as we do have an engage.
Oh my goodness, yeah, what is going on here? The Unstoppable Force being used, followed up by the Cyclone, and Wukong, even though he's getting low, oh my god, yes, that is enough right there. Here comes the flash from Wukong to try to get away, but Karthus said, I'm going to use my flash as well, with the AoE damage from his E, and then of course picking up the kill with his Q, puts him now 2-0 on the map. And I mean, they're able to trade 1-for-1, that's not a horrible thing. I just think maybe Malphite pulled the trigger a little bit too quick, thinking that Karthus can get there, and with all that focus happening on the top side, this bot lead just keeps on expanding further and further. 2-0-1 on the Twitch, 53 farm, only a slight lead on the farm here, but it's not just the kills and the CS, but it's also the lane priority. As these dragons come up, these early dragons, you need to secure as many as you can, and they already have the Infernal, which is a really good one for stats. I mean, the next one coming up is the Hex. They just have to be very careful, not giving up too much priority, because last time Eternal had really, really strong presence in the jungle here, but Karthus, in response for Regalia, is doing a great job answering that. He's corrected himself, definitely.
Yeah, I will say, Dino's actually been keeping up in farm pretty well. Karthus farms, like I said, super fast. So the fact that Dino is only like a little bit behind in terms of CS, not so bad. The fact that Dino hasn't really been able to convert any of these ganks into something for themselves, at least, has made them fall behind more than they would like. Obviously, at least they're Rammus, so they get a lot of those bonus resistances for free just off of the W shield while that's active. You get like +70. It's base. It's very effective to just kind of help you get those stats. So that's gonna help out a bit, but the 2-0 Karthus looks pretty good. I will say, to try and defend Cook from that earlier engage on to Madness, I think the idea was they were going for the Dark Harvest proc, and they thought that, okay, maybe Cook can clean this up on their own, but then it just didn't pan out. Okay, good knockback, but Scrambles is in danger.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, Karthus has been sneaky here, trying to get this this counter jungle thing going, but Wukong was a little bit privy to it this time, meeting him in the jungle and locking him down with the pincer between the Rammus and the Syndra. That is quite a bit here. Karthus does end up falling, and that is another kill given on over here to Eternals. And I mean, we gave kudos earlier. He's doing a great job. He's ahead 83-57 farm, doing a tremendous job right now in the farming aspect. When they were getting the first dragon, the first set of grubs fell to Karthus. So once again, he's doing a great job answering, but I think he might have gotten a little bit too comfortable with the whole counter jungle aspect here. you know, that is... Oh, hold on 1 second. In the bot lane. There goes the Requiem, and ooh, almost gets that kill off onto mid. The burn, is it going to be enough? No, it is not. No, not even close. Not yet.
Yeah, you take, even if you don't get the kill, you're fine just picking up the Dark Harvest proc, because you want to get as many of those as... Oh, wait, did we just kill?
Oh,
no, we don't! Yes, we do! But we die!
Worth? Questionable. Had to burn the flash, and he died. So I'm not entirely sure if that was 100% worth onto the mid lane, but at least the kill, I believe, did go on over to the Rammus. So that is okay.
Yes.
And topside is doing tremendously better than last game. You know, able to withstand on the Wukong because he's going tank this time. Look at that. Into a damaged Juggernaut. He's ahead by 20 farm. Look at that.
What? It's crazy. Wait, are you telling me that Malphite builds tank items? What?
Sometimes?
Wait, hold up. All right, but
oh my God.
And I did post it. The people are gonna hate me for this. You know, the real reason why Malphite ended up dying in that earlier fight, like 18 minutes ago, was because they didn't have AP. All right, if they had the AP, you know, they would have gotten that kill, not died. Is all I'm saying. I'm so glad that they actually have armor. This is great news, especially because it does cause trouble for Madness, makes the lane a lot tougher. Because one of the good things about Malphite is he just kind of sits up there, and he's just a rock. You cannot necessarily move him. You know, it used to be you built Sheen, slapped people with IBG, and just made it miserable for the enemy top laner. This is not quite that, but it's pretty close, as Madness does have those couple of kills, does have that armor shred on the Eclipse. So not necessarily completely negated up here in top lane, can definitely still kill Cook if they aren't careful. But it's really tough to actually get any kind of tempo in the lane now, just because Cook doesn't necessarily care that you exist. You're a non-factor to the Malphite at this point. If you do not have another person with you, or if, you know, the Malphite doesn't just blunder and get half of their HP reduced for no good reason, which I don't think will happen necessarily. I think we're gonna be pretty smart on the Malphite this game. That aside, looking across the map, we got the 6 Grubbins picked up by Regalia, so that is a full sweep of the Grubs, and that is very good for them. They've had a lot of control over the top side of the map, obviously. And, you know, the Rammus and the rest of Eternal were able to pick up those first 2 Drakes. And that arguably puts them into a pretty decent spot going as the game continues. This is a Hextech Rift.
Oh,
yes, it's a Hextech Rift.
Okay.
You know,
indeed, it is a Hextech.
Yeah, I'm saying this because I see the infernal icon. You know, how many years is it? How many patches has it been, and we still don't have these fixed? It's how long have we had the element? How long have we had the new Drakes, and we still don't have them fixed? It's
oh
awesome.
my God,
it's epic. But you know, that client stuff aside, yeah, it's Hextech, so that is something that Karthus absolutely would love to have. The extra damage on the shock from the Hextech Drake would be very good. But fortunately for Eternal, they're able to deny the Herald to go with those 6 Grubbins. So not getting the full value out of that top side pressure. Good work from Eternal denying that, as we have a lot of players on top side. I'm curious as to what they'll do with it.
I think they think that they're going to try to do an easy dive here. I mean, that is now a tanky Malphite, so be mindful of that. Rift is popped. That is a full tower, though. Very healthy. See if someone does hop in and then tries to go for the dive. Karthus waiting for the perfect number to show. There it is. The Malphite ulti along with the Requiem. And, oh my goodness, we also have a lot of action happening on the bot side here. But going right back to top, oh my God, a double kill being picked up by Twitch. In the meantime, as you can see on the screen here, Tristana now making her way to the top, focusing onto the Rammus, the tanky Rammus. I don't think that was the answer, as he does just rollerblade away. Zyra also seems to get out of there, with Wukong falling in the top simultaneously as the 2 bot laners on Eternal do fall. So yeah, they managed to save the top lane tier 1 tower, but at what cost? Both of your bot laners falling to another double kill picked up by Twitch, 4-0 and 1. You know, Jinx, unfortunately, still doesn't even have her first item, as this Twitch does have Blade of the Moon King already. I mean, it's just a little bit rough right now on the side of Eternal here. But Jinx is Jinx. She's going to do Jinx things later on. Just a matter of time. Once she is able to get those first, like, 2 items, after that, it's like, okay, I don't care how late in the game is, I do damage, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it does not matter. You eventually do damage. Okay.
Yeah, this is kind of getting a little bit tricky here. Chernobyl stuck between a rock and a hard place. Another root is going to land. The ulti definitely a lot of moments too late, as that lands onto nothing except for the Jinx, who was just running away. And we do have Ball Slap along with Scrambles making his way. A great W is going to land, and it is not going to be enough to heal. Does come through, but Billy Badass is going to go and get pushed back. The teleport coming in, though, from Madness, and it's just a numbers game right now, as we do have one after another member falling on the side of Eternal. And the Dragon setup that is going to be 40 seconds from right now. Another zap to go ahead and show Madness in the bot lane there, and Scrambles is just going to disregard everything and just keep on farming top, along with Cook, who is able to go ahead and get a tower. Not the first one, unfortunately, as just moments before. Bot lane was able to secure that one here, but, you know, any little victory that they can get right now on the side of Regalia is one. I mean, look at that farm lead between the top and the jungle alone. 141 to 89 and 141 to 106. That's like 3 or 4 kills between the 2 of them of their head and gold, on top of the 3 and 1 that Karthus already is. And, you know, Tristana's not that far behind. She's 2 and 2, has an Infinity Edge. Jinx still does not have her first item. And this is a 3rd dragon now being potentially picked up by the side of Eternals. Malphite is going to go ahead and get locked up there, but he is very tanky. And oh my god, Leper Koopa is just going to go ahead and take the Spanx out by themselves. And the Requiem, though, is going to go ahead and get a double kill secured here on the side of Regalia. The Dragon falling to about half health. Scrambles trying to make his way to get a smite off. Is it going to be in time? I'm not sure. There goes the ultimate, the double ulti. And oh my god, 1 by 1, Karthus is absolutely destroying, decimating, picks up the Dragon, and come on, Billy Badass. Is it going to be 1 more Q? And the double kill going along to him, but that is a triple, I believe. Yes, it is. Picked up by the Karthus. 8 and 1 now. Just like we saw last game for the brand on the side of Eternals, this is what Karthus is currently to Regalia. And yeah, they're not out of this at all as long as Karthus keeps on doing that. Holy crap, what a setup, what a steal, what an everything.
Dread it,
Regalia.
Run from it. Karthus arrives all the same. This is where you want to be. The game is now all loaded onto Scrambles here. That fight definitely, it was super back and forth there. You know, Karthus, that early Requiem was able to cut through at least a couple of members of Eternal as Ball Slap just dies. So we're just gonna move on and pretend we didn't see that. The early fight was okay. Never mind.
Oh no, I mean, there's always going to be fighting happening right now. I mean, just as they tried to get a little bit back into the game, Eternal's like, you know what, we're not having this. 2 kills on the map there, as you saw. Leper was able to go ahead and just annihilate Ball Slap there, and then of course Tarek being caught out once again, unfortunately, falling victim in that. Going to put him down, and here comes Twitch doing what Twitch does. The poison is going to do it as the cleanse comes out a lot of it too late, and you can't cleanse a poison, just like our lovely producer is letting us know. Not cleansable. It's not a burn. It's not like brand. You know what I mean? It's a little bit different.
Yeah, you may think it's the same, but it's not. All right, it's in the words. It's in the specific wording of these 2 different debuffs.
Wow. That was an easy go away by Syndrome. I thought Syndrome was gonna make it, but no. It's every opportunity in the world. Oh, nice buff to go ahead and get out of the taunt, but no. The taunt, and you know, it just wasn't enough, of course, from the health perspective to deal with the magic damage. And Zyra just applying a little bit of support, yeah, and Rammus just rolls away.
Yeah, Rammus rolling out, is able to escape there. Good kill from the Tristana there. Ball Slap was able to just narrowly stat check Syndra down there with those big burst numbers that Tristana just has innately. The rest of the map is looking still a lot better for Regalia.
Oh my goodness.
That was, well, I feel like that Malphite damage did more, that Malphite ulti did more damage than anything we saw last game. And then Karthus kills you. So, you know, it's, we do have the death for turret trade, which is, you know, I think it's not so bad. You're not going to be too upset about it, especially because there's really not a whole lot for your team to do. There is the Baron, but I don't know if Regalia is able to really think about contesting it. So if you're going to trade your life for anything, you don't want to trade it here.
There it is, the flash stun, and Zyra gets locked up. There we go, Ball Slap. He's going to go ahead and pick up the kill on the Such there. The teleport also coming in from Malphite. Doesn't have the unstoppable force for at least, I believe, like 30-40 seconds here. So has to be a little bit careful just in case. But yeah, they are just going to go ahead and take that kill and then make their way on over to the Baron while they have the numbers advantage for the next 15 seconds. Let's see if they're going to go ahead and pull the trigger. Nope, they are going to go ahead and stop that. But there goes the exhaust and a nice stand aside by the Syndra to go ahead and push them back there. I'm sorry, scatter of the week.
Yes, and the stand aside is Dravens. That is Jinx dead once again.
Yeah, that Twitch is just way too ahead right now, and Jinx is definitely not even remotely close, only having the one item, the Infinity Edge. 2 Twitches now, 2, almost 3 completed items. And here we go, Taric is now unfortunately facing the brunt, and here comes the ulti as well. Is it going to be in time? Yes, it is, as all of the members are now protected, but they don't have the damage except for the Karthus. Karthus is going to go ahead and try to get down. Tristana hops forward, but the invisibility coming in from Wukong is just not going to be able to do it. Rammus with a nice taunt delay after the W comes through. Shutdown gets picked up by Syndra. Triple kill, are you joking me? Followed up by the kill, and that is only because he stays alive for 7 more seconds, being picked up by Karthus. That Syndra is just absolutely crazy. Leper Koopa is definitely giving them Leper C right now.
I think that was a TP in from Leper Koopa there. I can't see the cooldown because I'm looking at a very crispy screen right now. But that was Syndra was just there. Okay. So Syndra was just there in the right spot at the right place at the right time to clean up those low HP bars on the back. I think that there might have been a bit of maybe a miscalculation in how we're playing the Karthus here. I don't know if they had Requiem for that to click it when they died. But the thing with Karthus, and this is something that is kind of counterintuitive to how you think you should play League of Legends, is in fights like that, your goal is to die. Your goal is to die in the best possible position to allow the rest of your team to win. Because Karthus' passive just gives you the ability to free hit with not getting contested at all. Obviously, you trade your life for it, but that's a pretty good trade to make if you can win a fight off of it. And instead, you know, Karthus gets to like a little around half HP and just kind of backs off. So Tristana is able to walk. Tristana doesn't have the backup needed to finish off the Twitch. Twitch manages to limp away, I think, at like 1 HP. And from there, it's just kind of Syndra doesn't have anyone to stop her. She's able to throw all of her abilities into these very low HP members and clean up the fight there. So really great stuff from Leper Koopa, identifying that as we have a Baron that started, and I don't know if Regalia can stop this. I mean, they're around, so we'll have to see.
Yes, we will. I mean, great job from Malphite, just dancing on to the top side. Baron falling down to half health now, as there is no vision really on the side of Regalia on this Baron. Never mind, they just dropped a ward there into the back of the Baron pit. And yeah, the Baron is just doing damage, but this is a good amount that they're not really taking. The Requiem is going to go ahead and get popped. And oh my god, down goes Such. But in return, Twitch is going to go ahead and take down with the Cinder. That's going to be 2 members, 3 members down on the side of Regalia as their focus now turns on to, oh my god, yeah, that's 4 members. Karthus is going to fall, and his passive is not really going to do much else to stop this onslaught that is Eternal. And they are living up to their name, Eternal, as only 2 members died. 3 members now are going to turn their attention onto that mid lane tier 2 tower. And, you know, even though they did get 2 kills in return, you know, that is not bad. They had to give up an entire team to do so. So, I don't know. The further this game gets, the more and more bleak it's becoming, I believe, here for Regalia. Jinx just unfortunately is not able to farm. She's not able to side lane at all. She has to stick. Ooh, Super Mega Death Rocket, not quite, as it gets absorbed there by the clone and the rest of that tankiness that is Rammus. But, yeah, just unfortunately, Jinx is not able to be the hyper carry that she needs to be right now. She just finished her second item, which is a Phantom Dancer, and yeah, that's good, don't get me wrong. That's nothing compared to the 3, almost 4 items now on Twitch.
Phantom Dancer second. That doesn't feel right. All right.
No. I would have been rooting for it personally.
There are some doubters. I'm gonna do the research. I'm gonna do the research because I am curious. I know, like, because they did the AD carry item adjustments, that some builds have changed. So let me take a look-see at what the people who know what they're doing are building on Jinx right now. It looks like, yeah, actually, it looks like IE into Phantom Dancer is, well, Kraken or IE into Phantom Dancer is pretty popular, although it looks like it's more Kraken than IE into Phantom Dancer, as we do have Twitch killing people.
Yeah, that was just a good setup. Twitch scared them into the one direction, so that way Cinder can go ahead and take one. And that is going to be, oh man, an unfortunate knockback into the range. But oh wow, okay, Twitch does fall. The poison doesn't get Jinx. That's insane. But a double kill is getting sniped here by the Syndra. So yeah, that's going to be a 2-for-1. And this looks like this might be Soul pickup in the next 30 seconds for Eternal here, as also the top lane tower is taking quite the beating by those minions. That onslaught coming in from blue side from Eternal. They're just killing it right now in all aspects. The jungle wise is really the only thing, you know, that is kind of, I don't want to say even, but you know, getting the grubs earlier was nice. Not being able to secure, you know, the Rift Herald was kind of unfortunate there, but giving up 3 dragons as well. Questionable. Very questionable here.
Yeah, it is.
That's that 4th one's going to get
yeah, this is the 4th one just going to get cashed in here. They were able to at least steal the one earlier, but unfortunately they don't have the ability to step up, especially now that Jinx has been kind of chunked out. Unfortunately, they aren't taking this very quickly because Twitch is not there. I think they might be just luring Regalia in here, because if they step up too far, Leper Koopa and Billy Badass can just shred them. But it looks like, yeah, they're not even gonna step up. Karthus nowhere nearby. Not even gonna take the Hex Gates out there to try. Just gonna walk past them as the Drake falls, and that is gonna be the Hextech Drake going, the Hextech Soul going over to Eternal. And yeah, what looked like earlier on, what looked like glimmers of hope coming in from this Regalia comp. And, you know, from my perspective, you know, how do you beat Karthus here? Apparently you beat Karthus by just killing all the people around him, because there just isn't that kind of backup he needs. Neither Ballslap nor Lespanx are in a spot where they can provide the extra damage. Jinx is so malnourished this game in particular that while sure, inevitably Jinx gets there, we're now at 30 minutes, inevitably should have already arrived. And especially when you just die like this, unless...
Yeah. I mean, there is not a whole lot of unless. The ulti does come through there, and down goes Twitch, so that is the biggest damage that they have here, but at the expense of their own ADC. But Jinx really is more of a liability than you know, than an asset right now. Oh my god, what a nice scatter of the week landed by the Syndra. as another key member. Both bot laners do fall. Tristana hops in, gets the knock up buff. Oh my god, Zyra, you are playing out of your mind. You had saved the Syndra on your team. That's exactly what you're supposed to do. Both bot laners being dead here, along with the support on the side of Regalia. I know, man, look at that. That's a lot of damage. Yeah, this is a tank Malphite, but he doesn't really have the tankiness against the AP onslaught that is this Syndra here, as she is just absolutely tearing a new one. 3 members now in that fight fall to Revolution Eternal. Oh, the Super Mega Death Rocket, so close.
Yeah, it's what I mean. Obviously, I think that luring the Twitch into getting killed, not bad. Unfortunately, I don't know. It's just rough. Unfortunately, because of the fact that Leper Koopa is also really far ahead now too. Like we saw there, one scatter of the week leads into a dead player, unless they are Malphite exactly. So it's super rough to try and play into the team. You have to pick both of these double threat comps. A double threat comp where both of the threats actually come online is so tough to deal with, because you gotta somehow kill 2 players before your entire team gets wiped. God. And unfortunately,
you just said it out loud, dude. You just said it. One scout of the week lands, which it did. Tristana almost got popped instantly there. I mean, that was just one. They took their Baron like it was nothing. Oh my.
Yeah, Jinx is in the next game. I think Lesphanx is unfortunately not in the game anymore. They're looking at the next one, and I hope they can pull it back around if this ends up being a defeat, because, man, this is a bit demoralizing at this point. But the damage is actually good from that wreck up, and good night.
Yep, that's stat of the week once again. There's no follow-up, unfortunately, coming in from the side of Regalia to this once was 13-3 Karthus here. And yeah, Malphite just doing tanky things. Yeah, Wukong, unfortunately, you cannot 1v1 him, buddy. He's been ahead of you quite a bit this entire game, but the rest of your team is going to go ahead and take advantage of the fact that his presence isn't there with ease, taking out that mid lane inhibitor, and then, just going ahead and getting the advanced recall, and, just resetting. And I think this is exactly what they should be doing. Just split pushing, capitalizing on the Baron, and then just slowly sieging your way into the base that is Eternal. So, we'll definitely see if they're able to outlast. It's just going to... I mean, I was going to say it's just about positioning right now from Jinx, but it does not matter where she goes onto this map right now. 0-8-5. That is such a huge deficit to overcome, especially this late right now. And you cannot go to a side lane. Jinx is gonna, not Jinx, yeah. Twitch is just gonna show up instantly,
yes,
and just murk you, so you can't do anything to try to do anything in this game right now if you're Jinx.
Except Twitch went ahead, is both an assassin and a deity carry. He destroys you. There's really not a whole lot you can do. You have to play with another player around you, and even then, Twitch just might kill you both. Ball Slap in a bit of danger here, as will jump away. I don't know if Wukong will be able to complete that one, but on the bot side, we got 4 players walking into only 3, and the one Fed player is not here, so it's looking bad.
Yeah, it is, and down goes Jinx again, as that scatter of the week is just so ridiculously strong. The flashing forward from Twitch maybe takes a little bit too many turret shots there. Yes, he does. Tristana does get a nice kill and a nice shutdown. A second member does end up falling on the side of Eternals here, as they do take down their second inhib. The third one coming down on the top side with Wukong. Very nice ulti to go ahead and stop that scatter of the week damage coming in. He is making his way onto the inhib now, and at the cost of his own life, maybe? Nope, I don't think so. He's just going to go ahead and walk away. This is a perfectly executed siege right now by Eternals. You split the Baron up, you get all the inhibs down, and now you just walk it down.
Yeah, and Elder's here too, so... I was gonna, start mainlining some copium and be like, well, now that we're triple inhib, think of all the farm we can get. Think of all the gold we'll get from these minions. But unfortunately, that's not gonna be in the cards because Elder will allow the game to be ended before you can even actually kind of take advantage from the extra gold you get off of getting triple inhibbed, because when you're triple inhibbed, you die instantly if any good siege is started. No matter how ahead Karthus is, he cannot kill every single wave in the game, unfortunately. So, yeah, they're not even gonna pretend to contest this, not even gonna flip it. Honestly, I feel like at this point you just go for the flip, because this is not, you've already checked out. You can no longer play slow. You were supposed to play slow earlier in the game before you got double killed at level 5 in bot lane. But
level 2.
yeah. No, sorry, level 2, minute 5. The game is ending.
Oh my god, yeah, that's actually ridiculous. With that Elder Drake, I mean, there isn't even any play-by-plays that I'm able to do. That's just going to be 1, 2, 3. Jin's favorite number 4 members out. Karthus holding on just a little bit here. He's just,
Go in and die!
Yeah, no, not even worth it. Keep the KDA as high as possible. You know how it goes. You got to keep that match history looking a little bit nicer. But man, what a 2-0 victory here for Revolution Eternal. They have one more to secure for this 3-0 sweep. Once again, last time that they met, it was a 2-0 in the best of 3, and they're looking to match that here tonight in this best of 5. And look at that damage, 42,000 on the Syndra. Absolutely relentless and ridiculous. Doing a great job setting up. And I mean, you can't put Twitch out of the race as well with 15 kills on him. And, you know, the 2 carries did exactly what they needed to. They carried.
Yeah, it's what you needed to do. When you have a 2-threat comp, you need those threats to become as gods. And that is exactly what happened. The side of Eternal just played so well around their, again, they just played well around their win conditions. They recognized, okay, we need Twitch and Syndra to get a sizable lead here in the early to mid game and just try and steamroll from there. It looked a bit sketchy when we saw Karthus starting to pick up those early fights, but fortunately Jinx was in the trash can. And Tristana, it didn't look like Ballslap was super confident on the champion. So in the end, it was Karthus against the world. And unironically, Malphite was a pretty useful player there too. It was Karthus and Malphite against the world, and unfortunately the world got hands, and the Twitch was just too far ahead. Once they reached that kind of horizon line where they were able to one-shot the Taric before the Cosmic Radiance came down, there was just not a whole lot left for Regalia to do. It all depended on picks, but they just couldn't find them.
No, they could not, unfortunately. But hopefully they can turn things around here in game number 3. If not, then that is going to be it. And then that is going to be Revolution Eternal victory. And they will be marching on to the finals here upcoming after this. So, but that's a lot of time. There's a lot of League of Legends. All they need to do is hit that little mental reset button, as we've seen in time and time again in these best of 5s. The reverse sweep is not out of play. It's just going to be about how you focus and what you do in here for game number 3, just to turn that around. But do not go anywhere, because you got your boy Ryan Lion and you have Becky Rita. And we're going to bring you all the action in game number 3 in just a little bit. Don't go anywhere. right, welcome back, all of you wonderful, wonderful people. It is your boy Rye Lion with Becky Rita here, and we are on game number 3 in this best of 5 of the semi-gold finals for these two in-house teams between Revolution Eternal and Revolution Regalia. And Regalia currently is down 0-2 right now, and they have chosen back to go on blue side here, and they are busting out these bans faster than they possibly can, with Brand, Zyra, and Twitch going away for the side of Regalia, and Eternal choosing for the Ivern, the Neferi, and the Ahri here. Karthus being picked up again by Regalia, which I think is a very good first pick here, as it worked out pretty well. And oh my god, never mind, going with the Jinx again. Instead, it didn't work out. Oh man, and the Syndra being picked up by Eternal. This is looking like a repeat of last game there. Becky, please try to talk me down from the ledge. And what could Jinx do differently this time? Now that Twitch isn't here, maybe that's a little bit better.
Here's the secret. Position better. There were far too many times where Jinx just got caught out. Just like wandered into, you know, a instant death with nobody around them. If you're gonna play Jinx, you have to have backup. You need to have your support or your top laner or literally anybody with you. You can't just walk in alone to anything. So it's something that it was definitely like kind of a mistake in positioning. But you know, I think that hopefully they sort of clean that up going into this game, as we have the Morgana and the Mordekaiser getting picked up, likely for, I guess both of those champions can technically jungle. More jungle is better with the, of course, with the Blackfire Torch, allows her to be a little bit safer in the jungle, and it's a possibility. I don't know if I want to see it. I feel like there are like at least 30 better junglers. I think there are like way more picks that are better than Morgana. But we had the Vayne getting picked up as that is a flex. Vayne is a flex pick, unfortunately.
Yeah, so that's either a topside or an ADC Vayne. I'm leaning more towards topside right now. I mean, she could be picking up the Vayne just to dodge the Morgana Qs, which is totally fine. But we have the Morgana really, I believe, set up for the support position to stop the hard engage that is Nautilus with the Black Shield. So, you know, that's where I think the priority lies there for the Morgana. The Vayne, though, can go into the Mordekaiser if you play your cards right, definitely. There is no cleansing anymore of the Mordekaiser ulti with either the Quicksilver, well, any item that currently has the Quicksilver associated to it. So, and cleanse never worked to begin with. But, you know, Karthus showing your hand as the first pick and then not picking it was definitely going to lead to a second round ban anyway. And I thought they did very, very well on Karthus last time. They were ahead by over 100 farm by the end of that game on the Rammus, and you saw they were like 15 and like 5 at the end of that. You know, and then just kind of giving that up. It's going to be rough. You know, the first game, I believe, who did they go? Once again, that was the Maokai, which wasn't horrible. You know, definitely a good lockdown, but it just wasn't nearly as impactful as that Karthus was, especially with the Requiem last game. You know, so I'm definitely curious to see what they're going to go with instead here for Regalia. Gnar is actually going to be the top lane shutdown, or lockdown here for the side of Eternal, as that means Vayne is probably going into that bot lane role. And then J4 actually getting picked up. I like me some J4, and I do like me some Wukong. Two very traditional, very impactful, especially early game junglers. J4, I think, has the most damage and gank potential coming in, more than any other jungler, if I'm not mistaken, outside of maybe Zac. So, you know, if they're able to go ahead and get some early kills, and then with the Cataclysm and then the Malzahar ulti as well at level 6, that is going to be a lockdown on the mid lane, which is this Talia here. So I'm very curious to see how she plays it. She can try to, you know, ride the wave. You know, that is her ulti there. But I just don't know if she's going to be able to get it up in time. But we'll definitely have to see. I've called it two games in a row. I like Regalia's comp. They always seem to have a good comp on paper. It's just the execution part that seems to falter a little bit. I mean, Eternal just seems a little bit spread around, except for that Syndra pick, which was, as we saw, absolutely ludicrous last game, setting up really well. I just like the composition that Regalia always has. It's just, once again, Eternal's able to actually execute per individual lane here. And then, of course, as the overall team fights, that synergy that they just seem to possess is unmatched right now.
I think, I don't know. I'm less sold on the Regalia comp, and maybe that's just, kind of results-based analysis from the previous two games, where we've seen them kind of falter. That's kind of maybe, I'm less enthusiastic about the comp. I like the idea. I like some of the ideas it has, but I don't know if Malzahar is exactly what you're looking for here. It seems kind of disconnected. We have a lot of decent single target CC tools, but we don't really have like a purpose for any of them. Well, other than, okay, we can pick Syndra to kill, or we can pick Vayne to kill, but and then what? It feels like it's really dependent again on Jinx later in the game. Allowing that CC chain to get the first reset, and once you have Jinx excited, she is able to run over the rest of the team because she's not super contested in terms of positioning around in fights, as long as she waits for those big cooldowns from like the scatter the weak to go through. But I think that Eternal have put together something very solid. I do like this composition from Eternal. Mostly just like they have good buttons, and they have good buttons that have a reasonable amount of synergy with each other. Again, they have a stronger late game threat with the Vayne. They have a more mid to late game threats with the Syndra and the Talia. And then they have a good frontline duo of Nautilus and Gnar that provide both a mix of peel and engage. So I think that their composition is very balanced. It's I wouldn't say it's conventional, but I feel like on paper they put together something that makes sense. It's not. I'm not scratching my head about any of these decisions. Triple AP from Regalia, it makes me concerned a little bit, but fortunately there isn't a whole lot of value from MR from a lot of these players on Eternal. But I don't know. I think part of this is just that Regalia looked so lost on compositions where theoretically they had easier ways to win the game. And now I don't know if they have those easy ways to win the game. So for me, I feel more confident in Eternal's comp.
Okay. And I mean, like you said, the proof is in the pudding. First two games, on paper, it looked like Regalia had it, but Eternal just ended up, once again, having that synergy, having that team communication, and being able to execute flawlessly, especially in that game number 2 there. And, I wouldn't doubt if they did it again in game number 3 here to finalize that sweep against Regalia. There are a couple of things that do stand out to me a little bit. If Gnar is pretty much the only engage outside of like Syndra being able to set up a scatter of the week, or the Nautilus being able to go ahead and start with his ulti as well, the depth charge, that Gnar's going to get locked down immediately by Malzahar ulti, followed by Morgana Q, followed by, XYZ in the third. But I mean, we've just seen Eternal being able to work around these things that we call out here, and I don't see that not happening again here for game number 3. So it is going to be about Regalia's positioning. They cannot get caught against walls, and that's difficult when Talia is literally a walking wall here. So it is going to be a very, very interesting game. And, all in all, I think you said it, but I want to hear you say it out loud. Are you going with Eternal for games number 3 here?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, unfortunately, I'm going to have to side with you on that one. I put my chips on Regalia for the first 2, and I got burnt the first 2 times. So, I do have to say Eternals has shown the reason why that they, last time that they met up, they 2-0'd Regalia. And, looks like they're on pace to do so again here in this best of 5. But with 2.5 minutes while we get ready for in-game, your boy Rye Lion along with Becky Rita will be right back with all the action. Alrighty, welcome back, all of you wonderful, wonderful people. It is your boy Ryan Lion with Becky Rita here, and we are giving you all the action in this game number 3 of this best of 5 for the gold semifinals BOL between two in-house teams. We have Revolution Regalia and Revolution Eternal. Regalia is going to be on blue side once again for game number 3 here. And we have Eternal on red side. And yeah, we had some sneaky little play. We have them all bunched up onto the bot lane down there, hoping that we would get an invade coming in from Eternal. But Eternal have all the time in the world. They have all the luxury of being able to play it slow with their O2 lead. So they're definitely not going to be pulling any risky invades here.
Yeah, no need to take any unnecessary risks. It's always fun in your head. It's like, oh, if we make this low percentage play and it pays off, we look like geniuses. But it's always better just to take the safer play, especially in a series like this where everything is on the line, and everything's especially on the line for Regalia right now because they are, as you said, 2 games down here. It's going to require a reverse sweep from them to claw back victory and, you know, upset the competition here. But for right now, they've definitely had a rough go of it. The first 2 games, they had their brighter moments, but unfortunately, the deficits around the map were just too hard to contest.
Yeah.
So hopefully we see from this game a little bit more maybe a bit more of a control, a little bit more control, a bit more confidence. And definitely I would hope to see them utilize the strengths of, you know, picks like the J4 to help them get an earlier lead without giving up so much in the process. Especially into some pretty dangerous champions, as we see a trade that goes really well for Cook, actually.
Yeah, Cook making his way off the Malphite in game number 3 here, going with the Mordekaiser, as that was banned out in the first 2 games. So he was able to go ahead and trade the Karthus Prio for the Mordekaiser Prio in those first 3 picks. And, oh, yep, forcing the flash. There goes those early ganks that I was talking about from J4. That presence is absolutely unmatched. Also has the highest damage, I believe, as well. And meanwhile, we have another gank coming in here from the top side. Mordekaiser kind of getting pulled in a little bit, drops the E, so he's not able to use that to get away, and does flash out. Talia is the jungler this game, so, you know, able to get a flash out this early is definitely a successful gank, but walks right into the face. That is J4. The knockup does come through. Unfortunately, Mordekaiser not there quite yet. There it is. There's that damage, and there's that flash. Talia forced to flash over the wall there. Meanwhile, in the bot side, we have a little skirmish going on, but Syndra's able to just walk away from this Malzahar, and everybody is happy dandy. So flash for flash, top side burns it, jungle burns it on the side of Eternal, and we are back to a 0-0 game.
Yeah, it's, you know, a little bit of action around the map, but nothing amounting from it yet. Both teams utilizing their summoner spells to keep themselves alive. Cook, good flash there, very well timed, waited until the very last possible moment, was like, okay, can we save it? But no, you cannot. Leper Koopa, ooh, just barely. I honestly, I don't know if Scrambles, yeah, that was not a good angle to get a flash extension, I don't think. It would have been a bit iffy. But I'm also really bad at hitting them from my own play, so in my mind it's like, oh, I wouldn't hit that. But I don't hit any J4 flash extensions anyways, so you know, I'm not the biggest, the best judge of whether or not that was reliable. But hey, you know, still getting a bit of pressure, helping Ball Slap get a little bit of breathing room, because they've definitely had a rougher go of it. Leper Koopa has been playing really well this series, both on the brand and on the Syndra. So trying to help get some, even if just like a mental advantage here in the mid lane. But sometimes that's all you need, is somebody telling you, you got this, right? You know, having that emotional confidence.
Absolutely. The emotional and the mental confidence to go against your laning opponent, especially after being beaten as badly as you were last game on the champion that you picked in the first game. let alone. So it's just kind of like, not only did we beat you, but we beat you on the pick that you had in game number 1. And another repeat game coming in from top side. This time Cook does not have flash available. Gnar is coming in with the Mega Gnar combo, and this is a lot of damage. The AoE is definitely not enough here. Is he able to get away? No, he is not. In the first blood being picked up by Madness on the Mega Gnar. And Dino, knowing that Flash was down to the top side and that Mordekaiser was pushed up just too far, is all that you really need to secure that first blood.
Yeah, great first blood there. You know, wait for the Mega, get that CC chain down, and obliterate Cook before you have the before you even have the level 6 come through. A good timing, I would say, from that gank to make the most out of dealing with the Mordekaiser before you have to eventually deal with the Death Realm. On the other side of the map, I want to point out that there is a very sizable CS lead for Billy Badass in the bot lane right now. Earlier on, Lespanx and Chubby Chernobyl gave up the early waves and early.
Second here, don't mean to cut you off. Oh man, holding on with just a sliver of health. J4 being caught out by that disgusting Talia Syndra combo there. Not quite level 6 yet. Would have been a different story.
Yeah, not quite level 6. That's good. We managed to avoid it. And don't worry about the Syndra special effects there. If you're seeing the funky particles of her surrounding orbs, for some reason, like they've been like it's not there right now, but for some reason they've been like off of her, like in a different zip code. It's very strange. Maybe it's fixed itself at this point. We'll keep an eye on that. Keep an eye on that one. It may come up again, but. Back to bot lane. At this point, fortunately, Jinx has gotten a little bit of ability to push that wave back in, and has evened out the deficit that was there, which is very good. Because if they had been kind of stuck down there, dealing with the unbreakable freeze, it was gonna be a nightmare for Jinx to come back in. And honestly, it might still be a nightmare. The wave is in favor of Billy Badass in terms of controlling it, because they aren't gonna get this next shove in. So it's going to be a little tough, but hey, Dino's looking for something.
Oh, yes they are, and ulti is going to be a top tier by the Vayne. Doesn't quite get the E off, unfortunately. That Black Shield did stop the CC, so great job, great timing coming in here from Chubby Chernobyl on the Morgana Black Shield. That's exactly what you can ask for. Burns the ultimate as well on the Morgana, so that's good. But that's going to go ahead and give them priority on this dragon. And that is going to be a first Drake being picked up here by Eternal. Gooch is, yeah, I was going to say, just waiting in the bush here. Doesn't quite throw that Q out, unfortunately. And did the dragon reset? I think
yes, it did reset.
Oh my god, alright, that's fine. The dragon, they actually just ended up going away from the dragon. Alright,
both these teams playing very controlled this game. We do have the Death Realm going down.
Oh, yes, we do. And now it is a 1v1 in the top side. There is a 1-level deficit, though, in favor of the Gnar, but that doesn't matter, especially when you're going against the Mordekaiser, the King of Death, and then one more Q, just like Nasus Bonk in the Death Realm. And that is now a kill being picked up by Mordekaiser, so that's going to even it up in the top side here and on the board 1-1.
Yeah, this is good for Cook. Again, it gives them some top side pressure. Will allow them to get those rubbins, and especially because that first Drake didn't end up getting finished by the side of Eternal, there's not going to be that objective trade that you would normally expect here at the start of the game. So that actually gives Regalia the ability to contest this Drake and potentially try and, you know, get the full double objective at the start of the map. But unfortunately, because of the bot side advantage that Billy Badass has, probably not actually going to happen. I think they're just going to accept this trade, and Scrambles is going to take this little bit of extra time to farm up some camps. Maybe go in, get those Krugs if they know that those are up. You know, try and deny a little bit from Dino while they have the time to. Because like Karthus, Talia farms very quickly. They have nerfed her clear speeds, you know, here and there, but it's kind of hard to entirely remove her from the jungle, and Riot doesn't necessarily want to, and I'm all right with that. I think she's a cool jungler. She has some really cool tools that a jungler can make use of, and I'm glad that they haven't tried to crowbar her back into mid lane and only mid lane, because she's kind of lame in mid lane more so than in the jungle, in my opinion at least. But opinions aside, we have some items completed. We have Hex. We have the Luden's Companion in the pocket of Leper Koopa. Ball Slap getting closer to that Blackfire Torch. We have Booties, the Berserker's Greaves in Billy Badass pocket, and probably going to get a component on the next item on this recall here. Yeah, getting close to what I presume is going to be a Bork. And that is going to be a huge power spike if when Vayne gets that.
Oh yeah, definitely. Oh, flash for flash. Jungle for mid lane. That is, I'm going to go ahead and go with that is in favor of J4. Only because, once again, he only just has a couple of seconds, comebacks around, into an EQ combo again. But meanwhile, in the top side, yeah, we have another death realm that's going to be used by Mordekaiser. He said, okay, I'm ready for you, jungle, this time. Oh no, misses the Q, unfortunately, but it is going to be enough with that AoE. But now, he is now in the face of the Gnar and the Mega Gnar. This is a lot of damage. He did scoot him closer, though, to his own tower. Missed the stun and the shield being popped. So that is very unfortunate. Jumps forward again to try to go ahead and finish something, but unfortunately, no. That was quite the unfortunate predicament that he's in. And there goes the Cataclysm on the mid lane as well. Syndra stuck between a rock and a hard place, literally. And there goes the Nether Grasp landing by the Mordekaiser. And that is exactly what I thought was going to happen. The Cataclysm into the ulti. That is the Nether Grasp on Malzahar. And just like that, we have 2 more kills being put up on the board. 3-1 now in favor of Regalia. Like, this is the turnaround. This is what we need. Yeah, Jinx isn't doing as hot as we need her to, but she is 0 deaths and 0 everything. That is infinitely better than what we were at last game.
Yeah, this is what we wanted to see from the Jinx last game, is just don't do anything. You try and
lots of action happening onto the bot lane here. Unfortunately, hold on one second. We have a teleport coming in from the Syndra. This is huge, and that is going to be 1 kill given on over to the Vayne. J4 trying to do what he can, but stepped up a little bit too close. That is 4 members right now on the side of Eternal in that bot lane, and they are not looking to leave with that 1 kill at least. Yeah, Jinx, it's definitely not worth it. Give it up. J4 sitting at about 40% health right now as they just try to clear what they can to get them off of this tier 1 tower. I mean, they still have, what, 1 minute left of the gold to share, but they are giving up a whole lot right now. You know, well, never mind. They just went right back to the lanes, and they just got a bunch of gold to share. Never mind.
Yeah, gold being shared. Sharing is caring, as we know. And that's all right. You know, you take the gold you can get. Gold lead is still slightly in favor of Regalia, ever so slightly.
Look at that Mord.
Yeah, Mordekaiser is entirely where that gold lead is. It's all in his pocket. Again, you know, very good stuff from Cook this game. You know, the first 2 Malphite games were a little depressing. The first one more so than the second one, but hey, I feel like, you know, in the second game, they showcased that they're not just going to get roll over and get killed. And in this game, they have a lot of tempo, and they've put Gnar into a very precarious situation. Gnar, as a champion, when he gets put behind, he's one of those champions that really struggles to get back into the game. Because his big item breakpoints are just so expensive. In comparison to...
no, another Cataclysm is going to go ahead and land, and down goes Talia. Oh my goodness, this is a very different Regalia than we saw those first 2 games, like we were literally just mentioning. And yeah, that's going to be a nice little Rift Herald picked up here by Regalia, as they are now down in numbers. I mean, Syndra and the rest of Regalia just aren't able to really do much against how much, you know, engage that they have. But hold on one second. The flash coming in. There goes the ulti from Syndra. Is it enough? Oh, the turnaround, at least 1 for 1. The shutdown being picked up by Leper there, though. You know, the ignite was good. Everything was good. Coming in from the Nautilus, it's just kind of a diff, and kind of walked right into tower, unfortunately, as well. Getting that 1 tower shot really is the make or break.
Yeah, and in the bot lane, we saw Billy Badass get the solo bolo on it to Lespanx. Just the Jinx, Morgana walked up to try and provide some backup into the mid lane, and Billy Badass just cleans it up down there. Very, very good for the Vayne, and Billy Badass has played super well in this series and this game as well. Already off to a great start here. I will say to step away from this, to plug some other things. Billy Badass actually is going to be playing in the new Blue Otter Draft League that is going to be starting up next week. They are one of the players who are going to get drafted onto a team. And if you checked out the content, I did do player evaluations for all 90 players in the draft league. And I did not rate Billy Badass very favorably. But I might have to adjust that after seeing this. I'm pretty impressed with their play this series.
He is indeed very badass this series, that is for certain. And hold on one second, Malzahar getting a little bit too comfortable here. Does dive underneath tower with the J4, and they do end up getting the kill, but trading once again 1-for-1. And now we have Nautilus, who is fighting with the J4. And J4 is going to go ahead and be able to escape, switching our focus now to the mid lane. We do have the ADC, and the support is kind of matching along with the Wukong, I'm sorry, the Talia here. And topside, keeps on being topside. They're just kind of sitting on their own little island for right now. But, hold on one second. Mega Gnar's going to go ahead and jump in. Not quite sure as to what he's trying to do here. Ulti's into nothing, doesn't get a stun off, and no tower damage, unfortunately. The Rylai's already being picked up along with those Ninja Tabby boots. That was one of the first items I believe that Mordekaiser picked, which is showing to be ultra effective right now. That 12% reduced damage doing wonders right now in this 1v1. But one thing I do want to point out, though, is Eternal is currently 2-0 on the Dragons. They have the Ocean and they have the Infernal, and it is going to be another Hex Tech as the Soul for game number 3 here, which they did manage to get last game with 4-1 Dragons last time. If they're able to get all 4 Dragons, that might be another issue for Regalia to overcome right now, even though they are showing to be pretty formidable at the moment.
Yeah, very, very formidable. It was looking very good for Regalia, and they do still have a lot of strength. Ball Slap is going to die.
Oh, yeah. Goodbye, Ball Slap. That is very unfortunate. Does almost get... Rocket walks right into that. What a snipe from downtown. And this is 100% more kill participation than what Jinx had last game on the board. Look at that, 1-1-0. Love to see it. Great job, Lisbanks.
Yeah, Lisbanks finally getting that Mega Death Rocket.
A teleport coming.
Yeah, it's not good. It's going to stop him from going any further, but I don't think he was going to be going much further anyways. But, very, very glad to see Lisbanks finally get one on the board. It's been a rough couple games for the Jinx, is all I'm going to say. A lot of Super Mega Death Rockets either amounting to nothing or amounting to less than nothing. So finally getting a snipe there. Again, sometimes all you need is the mental, right? You just need the mental reset to know that you are a gamer. That was Mordekaiser did the cha-cha slide right there. It did get shoved by the Gnar ulti, but Spectator Client decided not to show it. So he just kind of reappeared. It's like he was exclusively on a bad connection. Mordekaiser's on the McDonald's Wi-Fi. That's why his name is Cook. He's cooking up the patties while he's in the lane.
I love it. I absolutely love it. Oh man, you gotta love the Spectator Client sometimes. They do have some of the funniest interactions and things like that, especially with 2 champions that can move the other one. Sometimes those interactions kind of get mixed up in the bugs or in the coding, and we get that lovely little thing that we just saw, like you said, the cha-cha slide. Oh, that's so funny. Oh, nice. Okay, Vayne is going to go ahead and get the backstop. But wait, that is not a good thing. J4 now is definitely the one that is feeling the burn. Here comes the Cataclysm, but with the other 2 members there, not much can really come out of that, as the walls can be used against you as well. So that is a little bit unfortunate. Vayne picks up their 3rd kill of the game. So yeah, that's a pretty unfortunate position. And Jinx, the later this game goes, that is exactly what she wants. She doesn't care if you're tanky, squishy. She's gonna do the damage here.
Yes,
And so,
Vayne.
yeah,
Vayne.
Vayne specifically. Yes.
Yeah, Vayne is going to be doing quite a lot of damage. Okay, we're fine. Black Shield saves us there. Morgana does manage to get out there. Flash as well does have to get burned, and this is just going to be the third Drake going over to the side of Eternal. And although the kills are certainly not as in favor of Eternal as the previous games, they still have had really great control of the Dragon side of the map, and that really just amounts to the fact that Billy Badass and Booter Scooch have played so well in this game. You know, Spanx is at least not dying, but sometimes sometimes not dying doesn't actually win you the game. I would say, especially when you're trying to fight into a Vayne, who is also going to hyperscale with you. You can't necessarily just give up everything. I know, like, it was a super tough fight. I don't think that they had the items necessarily to contest for that Drake, but hopefully by the next one, they are able to have the ability to look at that Drake. They're at some better breakpoints, and they can look to actually, you know, get in there and stop that, because they can't afford to give up another one here, because this Hextech Drake will be huge for the Talia in particular. She will love to have that extra poke on top of her Qs. It'll allow the side of Eternal to siege a lot easier, especially considering Vayne's fairly short range. Cookers might have found something. Nope, never mind.
God.
Now that was the cha-cha slide. He cha-cha real smooth right there. Got sent to another zip code by the seismic shove and the condemn. A good thought process at least, but Flash doesn't get blown.
Yeah, he took take it back now, y'all, to a whole new level. That is for certain. But, you know, still good attempt. I like the look there. Just unfortunately, that Scat of the Week is a little bit too strong and really, really good in Leper's hands, as we did see last game. But let's see, you know, what they're able to pull out from here. You know, I definitely think, you know, like you said, the score is tied. It's not super heavily in either one's favor. So, you know, I think right now Regalia has the ability to definitely, you know, lock something down in here. Hold on 1 second here. Oh my god, the unleashed power. Vayne is going to unfortunately pick up that last hit. And as the focus goes onto the Mordekaiser, oh no, the shutdown double kill picked up by the Vayne. And there goes the third one. Talia's going to go in and get that one. That is going to be a double kill picked up by them. And an ace just out of nowhere in favor of Eternal. What happened?
Leper Koopa just had an insane flank. Found a great angle to get into the back of... Just find the back line. And with that, Scatter the Weak. Yeah, Scatter the Weak completely negated Spanx. You know, landing that one stun allowed them to destroy the Jinx. And unfortunately, Jinx being down, Malzahar is not gonna do that much damage, and Mordekaiser is not gonna do that much damage, so it just ended up being once the Jinx became a non-factor, Billy Badass was able to fully tear up the rest of the team, and it was just so easy from just the start of that. And I gotta say, 4v5, a really tough loss to take, because now that is Baron you're fighting into, and that Baron is going to be active when this Dragon Soul is going to be contested for. And that is going to make it so hard to approach just for any of these players. They already kind of have trouble approaching choke points into the Syndra and Talia, because, you know, you step into a choke point, you get blasted. You die instantly. So it's already kind of tough, but it gets even more difficult when you have waves pounding into your base, and Vayne and Gnar both can split push.
Yes, they can. And Nar doing a tremendous job into the top side here. The shield does get popped here by Mordekaiser, but is it going to be enough to hold on? Oh my god, the AoE damage, the solo bolo damage. One more Q is all he needs. Oh, the slow's not enough right now from the Rylai's Crystal Scepter, but he is on the hunt, and he does have... Oh, never mind. I was going to say he does have the tier 1 tower, but no, he does not. The tier 1 and the tier 2s both gone. Madness now running through the jungle of the side of Regalia. And yeah, he is able to go ahead and maneuver his way and get out of there, that slippery little dinosaur that he is. Meanwhile, we do have some action happening into the mid lane here. Nice knockup, but it gets instantly blocked and blown up. Vayne just goes ahead and takes that along with the help of the Scatter of the Weak. And the ultimate is still being popped here by Vayne. And once again, she does what she does best. And that is hunt down tanks. Oh my god. 2 more members down. Down goes Jinx. 1 more member. That is going to be 4 members. Malzahar. Oh
the game's over.
No, it cannot be. And we're only 26 minutes in. I mean, they are with the Baron. They don't have it for that much longer. The tier 3 tower does fall very quickly. The inhib is going to fall just as quickly behind it. They still have 20-second death timers right now. J4 up in 8. Malzahar just needs to hold on. Oh my god, these empowered minions, they could actually very well take this game. Are you kidding me? Tier 1 Nexus tower does fall. J4 is the only one left alive. Everyone else, yeah, they are. 26 minutes. They did such a good job spreading out the death timers. That is literally it. 26 minutes and 45 seconds. And this is a 3-0. We have Revolution Eternal 3-0ing Revolution Reginald. I'm sorry, Regalia. And this is exactly what we saw in the first matchup that we had between these two teams in the regular season. It was a 2-0 for Eternal, and it's a 3-0 repeated here in the semifinals. That is very unfortunate because this game was actually looking pretty decent for a little bit here. You know, Jinx, Snap, having 11 deaths was definitely beneficial, spreading the kills out a little bit, but the team fight, and once again, that Syndra is just able to set up, and then Vayne, the 8-0 Vayne with 18,000 damage, give Billy Badass an inch, and he's gonna take a mile no matter what on the Twitch, on the Seraphine, and now on the Vayne. I mean, absolutely ridiculous gameplay coming in from Revolution Eternal here. I mean, I don't really know what to even say about this, you know, game 3 here. It was a little bit slower moving than the other two, but in the end, it was the same outcome.
I feel like it feels like maybe Regalia took the wrong lessons from game 2, where, you know, their composition in game 2 definitely favored playing a bit slower and waiting, and in this game, they played slow and waited for no payoff. They got accelerated on once again just way too quickly, and although they didn't give over anything early, which is good, that's kind of what they wanted, they also just kind of refused to interact in a way that mattered. They were playing so terrified until the end there, where it just kind of became desperation and they were completely desynced there. Scrambles was, I think, in a different game than the rest of the team in that last engage, where they went forward. You saw that they had respawned like 10 seconds before everyone else. That's because they engaged that last fight 10 seconds before anyone else was even there. It was such a strange and scattered way to close it out, and it just kind of shows that, you know, it's kind of that situation you're in when you're down in a series like this. And you know, I've been in that spot, so I can't fault them too much for crumbling here. Instead, we should give credit to the side of Eternal, because they played super well in all 3 of these games in terms of making the most out of their compositions and finding their win conditions and playing into them so well. Using every champion as good as they possibly can, fighting really well. They were very coordinated in most of their fights that they took. Obviously, there are things to look at and improve on. I think, you know, there are things like getting hit by stray hooks from game 1, or Madness kind of had a rough go of it in games 2 and 3, at least for the early to mid game. Maybe look at some of that laning, right? But otherwise, I think, very, very good stuff. Very impressive work from Eternal to close out the series in a swift fashion. I didn't even have to wake up early tomorrow, and they already gave me a quick night. Why does this happen?
Yeah, they definitely were doing this for us as well. But I think the main falter, personally, for game number 3 that Regalia had was not locking in the Karthus in that first round. The Morgana was a good counter to the Nautilus pick, but you could have definitely picked that in the second round. That Karthus was absolutely ridiculous. They didn't ban him until the second round anyways. So, it definitely should have and could have been picked. The Jinx, even though it did way better in game number 3 than they did in game number 2, definitely would not have been my top priority on Regalia at all. Pick Karthus first and then pick up Jinx and Morgana. Or pick up Karthus and Mordekaiser, because those were 2 definite priority picks that they were banning out in games number 1 and 2. Even though the Mordekaiser was being banned out in the second round, you had the availability to lock down not only the Karthus, but also the Mordekaiser in the first round. And then if you wanted Jinx for the third pick, by all means, go ahead and pick him. But I'm not sure what the callouts were for Regalia. They definitely, had strengths in some moments. Mordekaiser was definitely a really good pick in game number 3 here. Karthus was a fantastic pick in game number 2. If they could have just combined that power together here in game number 3, I think that they would have stood a lot better chance slowing down the Vayne, not being able to dodge those Qs with Morgana. If the Karthus had the wall up to slow, plus the AoE, like Vayne already has the shortest range out of mostly every ADC, if I'm not mistaken here. So, yes, she's going to do a lot of damage, but that's what Karthus does. He goes in, he dies essentially, and then he's alive for 7 more seconds to go ahead and keep on doing what he needs to do. But Eternal, you cannot blame them. They did a fantastic job, and I have to say the flowers definitely go to Leper Koopa. I mean, absolutely locking it down all 3 games here. Brand on game number 1 was definitely a huge difference maker. And then also the Syndra on games 2 and 3 were just ridiculous, being able to set up, in those choke points that you were talking about. So great job to Eternals for ending this in 3-0 fashion and moving on to the finals. Regalia, valiant effort on your end, making it this far. A tremendous job. You beat many other teams to get this far, so that is nothing to look down on. And I want to thank everybody, of course, from the production to yourself, Becky, who have been hosting up until this point for the semifinals here, especially tonight in this 3-0 match. But yeah, I don't really have anything else to say about this game. Any closing remarks that you want to add?
Check out the draft tomorrow. Draft happening. Players getting drafted tomorrow. We'll see where Billy Badass gets drafted. Which team he'll end up on in the draft league. So check that out tomorrow. We'll have a streamed draft show as we see all those players get allocated into their spots.
Yes, sir, indeed. But with that ending, that is going to be a 3-0 victory on these gold semifinals here tonight. We had Revolution Eternal victorious in this matchup against Revolution Regalia. I am your boy Rylion here with Becky Rita, and on the lovely production end, we do have Ols. And I want to thank you all for tuning in here tonight, and we will catch you next time. Peace out, everybody.